3, 2, 1. That's becoming a thing.
We are live!
Live in the Dregscast with William.
Yo!
Gary. Oh. Frank and Gary. Frank.
They're both wrapped up warm.
Oh no, you'll pay for that.
You'll pay for it. You'll be like fidgeting.
Let's see.
Grandad over here, he's got his suit and tie
Grandad's
on.
warm. Grandad's going to work afterwards.
You'll need to be loud, by the way.
Pardon?
You need to be loud for the camera.
The pension's not the same these days. Grandad's got to go work, to work until he's 75.
My granddad always wore the same suit because he never changed size, you see.
Alright.
Are you going to be wearing this when you're 90?
Have you got that suit by any chance?
It's about your side.
I need to buy two suits, one for like fat Gary, one for thin Gary, and just like alternate between them. Like, oh,
So when you put
I thought you were going to say.
It'll be a while.
For the viewers in Afghanistan, you can't mumble.
I told you before.
You're gonna have
that.
I was thinking like 2 suits, one for the court, one for the wedding.
Same suit, man. I look like you made him on it.
So here we are, Frank and Gary. I don't know where to start. We've both got a long history together. At the beginning.
I was just wondering, is there anything we've got to talk about, guys?
No, I'm fucking ready.
Is that it's about that. Is that your pun?
Is that what?
Is that your pun of the night?
Yeah, that's it.
Right, so Gary used to be a baker. Is that self-raising flour?
Self-raising flour. Gets you very high.
Yeah. It's a bit bloaty. Yeah, so we're going to start at the beginning, so that'll be Frank, because he's first.
He's older.
He's older.
Started. How old are you, Frank?
I'm 48.
48.
48?
48.
You liar. Are you?
49 this year.
I thought you said you're 50 this year.
I'm 50 next year.
Got
How
my
can you
car
go
lined
from
up.
48 to 50 in 1 year?
Because
It's a leap
we're
year.
at the end of the year. And I'm going to be 49 this year.
What
And next
way
year I'll be
you
50 year.
What a weird thing
No,
to
you
say.
won't. You'll be 49 for most of the year.
No, we're in
But
November.
it's a weird thing to say, isn't
We're
it?
nearly in December.
When's your birthday? So you're...
31st of December.
Right.
That's
No, not
That's like, let's say
I'm
this.
50 next year.
That's like somebody's.
I'm lying up
That's
to
like
it. At least I'm saying.
you're like a
I'm 27.
You're like a 16-year-old saying, "I'm 18 next year." Right.
But if the 16-year-old's birthday was in 31st, you'd be like, December, that'd be right.
It would be.
You're 17 and boom, next year you'd be 18.
You're clinging onto your youth in more ways than one. Christ, it's hot in here.
It is hot. Yeah,
It's
so
hot.
it's one of us,
Jesus
isn't it?
Christ.
This is the biggest guests we've had, I guess.
We're doubling up.
Biggest in size, biggest in history,
Fuck,
biggest
that's a
in...
bit much.
Is
Let's
it
do
true,
it.
is it
Let's
true
do
that
this.
one of your guests fell asleep?
No, everyone says this. Like, our first guest fell asleep.
No.
She did not fall asleep.
She was rehypnoled.
She did not. She was awake through the whole ordeal. Is that right?
I can neither confirm nor deny whether she fell asleep or not. Actually,
She didn't fall asleep.
I was.
You know what these Asians are like? Work all day.
A lot of people are assuming we're doing this sober.
No, we don't do so.
If I was like sober, I wouldn't speak. I
A
wouldn't speak.
lot of people, because you love your
Nervous.
stats, a lot of people say, oh, watch the first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So now, hit subscribe now, and you can come back to it, because you'll know.
Just be aware the first 10 minutes will be rubbish. We haven't planned this. We'll probably.
This is the warm up. We do a 10 minute warm up, and then we get straight into it, I guess.
We'll get in now. You've both done MMA.
We have.
Aye.
Yeah. You went to Eton, is that right?
Well, the feeder.
The
King's,
feeder.
King's Medal.
The King's Medal.
The King's Medal,
Sounds very
the
posh.
local preparatory school.
Did you? Well,
And then after that, you what happened?
Where do you want to start?
Well, there.
so the school bell rang. You thought, well, that's the last day of term. Carry on.
Got myself an apprenticeship
Apprenticeship, we're about.
As a
as a pipe fitter welder.
pipe fitter welder.
Yes. And we moved away from home, stayed in lodgings for apprentices. Done 2 years away from home, and in my second 2 years I went to Torness Nuclear Power Station.
Louder.
Oh.
What did you do at Torness Nuclear Power Station?
I was still an apprentice pipe fitter.
Do they need pipes at Torness?
Oh yeah.
So what kind of pipes was it? Like
The bagpipe fitter.
Was it smoking pipes? All pipes. Gas pipes, water pipes. Yeah, tobacco
That's it.
pipes. All the pipes.
All the pipes.
All the pipes, all the time.
When did you get the car lot?
I've never had a car.
So
The whip it?
he's not a whip
You've never had a whip it. I thought you were
So-
whipping racing champions.
So King's Meadow is in
Paddington.
Haddington. So you're originally from Haddington?
I came.
It's the accent that's throwing you, isn't
No,
it?
'cause I thought you were like a Cockney.
A barrow
No,
boy.
I'd lived in London till I was about 5, I'm guessing.
So you were
And then
born
we
in
moved
London?
up. Born in London.
You sold some cockles on the streets?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Muscles.
Pickled
Alive.
eels.
Alive.
Oh,
So if you're a Cockney, you have to be born within
the sound of Bow Bells. and
Bow Bells. So you were born within the sound of
What's Bow Bells?
St Bartholomew's Hospital, Cockney geezer.
So you
like geezer.
What's Bo Bells? I thought it was Big Ben.
Bo Bells, I think.
Bo Bells is the bells from...
Bo. You've played
Bo's
Monopoly.
Bells.
No, I thought it was Big Ben was the bells.
So you're born a Cockney.
There's four of us.
Man.
We can't all shout over each other. Just saying, that's my direction.
All right,
I'm being skilled here.
Rowan is bullying again.
It's called hosting. Anywhere else it's called bullying. Here it's called being in charge. So you're born as a Cockney, and then you got moved up.
I came up to...
Is that because of the war?
Be hurtful. We're taking the top with you.
Were you put in the train and sent to the countryside for safety?
Paddington Bear. My marmalade sandwiches.
What was it? It was a different time back then.
It was a different time.
Surely.
Do you know you could have sex with underagers back then because they weren't underage?
Well, you've got to try to justify your actions.
Oh, they're not underage
What
now.
you've been doing is wrong.
So you're Haddington Bear. See what I did there? So you got moved up to Haddington.
I was going to ask what's
I went to a small school in I think it was a place called Fala, a little village.
Right.
That was my first school.
That's
And that was my first. That's when I started to get bullied.
And then you took up MMA.
You got bullied? Why?
No, I never got bullied.
Yeah, you did. Come on.
I never got
I
bullied.
did get a hard time for having an English accent.
I'd have thought so. It'd be weird if you did.
You've not lost it though.
Every day, Sassenach.
What's that?
That's kind of a posh insult. That's what
What's
that is.
assassin? Do you know what that means?
Well, it's
I don't.
an inaccurate insult about English people, isn't it?
Assassinate, what does it mean? Do you know?
It's not derogatory. I don't really know what it means.
Saxon, coming from Saxon.
Ah, right.
So I used to get called.
Posh boy Wally.
No, it wasn't.
Wally the Wank.
A Nazi. That's
You
it.
do look proper
There you
alien.
go,
though.
yeah.
You do look
Big
really
time
you look nationalist.
That's
Right,
it.
that
I
works.
was fine, and then we did history at school.
And you realise you were.
I don't know, they went on
Wait, that's
like,
me.
went on about the wars and all this shit, and
Does anyone have a question?
they just
I do. Do you think that's what it was, wasn't it?
yeah, they all started like they just found another reason to be nasty.
I don't think kids need a reason.
Kids
to be
are
nasty.
cruel. No,
They
it's-
don't- they don't
Well,
respect that.
Fucking cruel.
They don't-
My next school, I was put into a Protestant school, and I was a Catholic.
Protestant school.
And I'm also called Francis.
Of
So how did
Assisi.
you-
And that went really smooth.
So you went to Protestant school and you're Catholic.
I'm a Catholic, and I went to. A
So
Protestant
surely the
school.
Protestants don't hate the Catholics. I thought it was the other way around.
They do.
No,
No, it's just all one-sided, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
They hate us. That's what they both say, I guess.
Because I went to a Protestant. I didn't. I went to a Catholic school for like 9 months a year. I guess I was a
That
year.
explains a lot, actually.
It was hell.
Smallest classes.
Well,
You and the nuns.
me and the nuns, me and the vicar.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, it was horrid. Like the headmistress, there was two
you got-
non-Catholics in the school, and the headmistress bullied the shit out of us. Like we'd be playing marbles in the thing, in the whatever you call it, the yard, and if we won, she'd come up and say, "No marbles!" She'd like confiscate our marbles. But if we lost, she'd just stand there. And,
That's
Yeah,
right.
well,
Does that
Fucking
mean something
Cody
else?
Marbles.
yeah,
Is that a code for something? She took our marbles.
took her marbles.
She lost them at the end. It's a shame.
She was a horrible woman, horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
It's like purgatory, isn't it? And all that.
She-
You lose.
You wonder why people that hate children go into teaching.
Aye.
Well, I don't
Probably
think-
just
no,
because
she-
they hate children, I can fuck them up.
I think she didn't hate children. She just hated me for not having a non-religion. You know, you had to be Catholic.
You wondered.
Oh, and also because we did this.
Proper tribal.
We went to
Pick a
the
side.
church. I don't know what it's called. Church. Yeah.
Mosque.
And they did the thing where you all stand in line. You're Catholic, right? Yeah, you stand in line. You walk down the front, and the vicar lets you kiss something.
He's well like
The
Receive an offering.
Receive an
You
offering.
kissed the ring, man.
So you kiss the ring, and papi. And then
It sounds like a mafia dog.
yeah, exactly.
Come to me. God, kiss the ring.
That's what it was.
You got one
That's
favour.
what it was like.
You
He
got one
was,
favour.
he was standing there like this. I don't think I had to kiss.
Were you
a statue.
blindfolded at the time?
Because of
It was
stats.
like,
It was downstairs.
I'm going to give you the holy street, so.
Holy Churits. So I do all this. And I'm thinking, shit, I don't know what to do. But everyone else has stood up and filed down. So I'm like, oh shit. I better follow suit. So we all walk to the front slowly, and I'm trying to see what's going on. And we get there.
Is Jesus there? Can't see him.
Right. It's my turn. And I'm like, right, hi. And the guy's like, what? And exactly like that. You're Catholic. You've got the hang of it. So eventually I kick, he tells kiss the statue. So like obviously I go for the mouth.
Not there.
Not there, kiss the feet, alright. And he holds out this wafer. I'm like, oh cheers pal. Just take it.
I'm hungry.
like, "Huh?" So and eventually I figure out he wants it in my mouth. So I'm like, uh-huh. And he's, and he makes me stick my tongue out. And so eventually I stick my tongue out, and he puts it on my tongue, walk off. And my headmistress came up to me afterwards. She was furious with me. Furious. How dare you take the piss out of our things? I didn't.
I just didn't know.
I'm just saying, I hate you Catholics. That's all I'm saying.
It's live on YouTube. You're gonna get a lot more likes from that.
Yeah, subscribe now.
So,
How does it go on? Are you religious?
I'm not religious.
Do you have God?
I don't have.
Have you accepted the Lord our Saviour Jesus Christ into your heart?
No.
Gary?
Nah.
Nah?
Yeah.
Nah?
Never.
Who's your God?
I've got one.
did you
Zeus.
like see when you went to India?
Hades.
Did you not go? You know what? An elephant god
I
with
got-
like 6 hands.
I
That's
got-
for me.
I got a couple of blessings.
By the
but-
way, where's my gift?
That's the news.
What gift?
I
It's from India.
got Frank something blessed. but I
It's
lost
pronounced
it.
Blessed.
GIF. It just sends you a photo.
It's a picture. This is me on holiday. Aye, it's your holiday gift.
Aye, but you get a couple of blessings. Like we went to the Ganges and the guy's like, "Oh, you come for a blessing." Obviously, he's not got like that kind of accent. And he said, "What blessing, pal? Come here." So I went.
I mean, they've all got shops over here, so I guess it's very similar, right?
You should hear the accent of the people in New York, I tell you.
Or come to the.
Or,
We're not good at that. We don't do impressions here.
So it's like we're on the Ganges and we've sort of rowed it to this boat and it's like a bigger boat and it's got like a wee dunking bit where you can get dunked. And he's like, "You want a blessing?" I was like, "Aye, go for it." I don't know. So you give them like it was only like 30 quid and it was just pure cash, but they didn't do what they were like here at the Catholic Church or it's like a wee hymn and you get a donation. Can you expect to do He demanded they're like 20 quid.
20 quid.
To give him 20 quid, he said some shit. I said it back to him. He touched my face with like some spices in my head. Dumped me in the Ganges. 20 quid.
cash
Do you know the Ganges
That was
is like the world's largest open sewer? That's really cool.
Aye, well, I've seen this fact about it. Like,
You seen
no, I read this fact.
I've seen this fact about
that safe drinking water is like 1 part's feces for like 1 million parts water.
Yeah.
And the Ganges is
it's
like
H2O.
aye, the Ganges is like
Private school.
sorry mate. The Ganges is like 5,000 parts feces for 1 million parts. It's like almost saturated, just shit. Like horrible.
Did you see that?
One?
Seen a couple of dead bodies.
Did you?
Ganges.
Ganges, aye, in Varanasi. Because if you're poor, beside like there's like a big funeral.
India's like 90% poor.
Aye, but exactly. So there's like a
So if
funeral
you're
pyre.
Indian.
If you're in
If you're Indian,
If you're
it's a funeral pyre, and it's like
Yeah.
you just like the guy take you past in the boat, and you just like go past the funeral pyre, and they're just burning bodies. Like they've just lit it on fire and just put the body on top.
Yeah.
And obviously like 5
Like a
seconds.
barbecue.
Aye, 5 seconds later, like the linen burns up, and it's just like this body just fucking melting. Horrible.
And they all eat
But if you've not got enough money to pay for enough wood, the body's like half burned. So they just wrap it in like chicken wire and weights and just throw it into the water. And obviously some of them didn't work.
Couldn't afford the weights.
They're floating in the top. Aye.
Do you think they'd be that skinny? They wouldn't be fatties, would they? So they're not going to burn quickly
They,
anyway.
So there was some mafia guys who attached a pinball machine, chained a pinball machine to some guy and threw him over. Like,
Not a guy to a pinball machine.
no, definitely attached a pinball machine to the guy.
This pinball machine owes me money. What am I do? Yeah. No, it's fine.
No.
I want to clarify.
Yes, I think,
I'm
okay.
glad you did because I was not.
You were confused. You're like, what did the pinball machine do wrong?
Come to me, Mr. Pinball. There, my daughter's winning.
So
I don't need excuses. It's just tilt. Anyway, carry on.
which makes you now done it. Attached a
Man
man
to a pinball machine. There we go.
and they lobbed him over the Brooklyn Bridge or something. So there was this unsolved murder.
Is he a deaf, blind,
What?
and boy?
A what?
A deaf, blind, and dumb boy?
Why?
Like Helen Keller.
I just wondered who it was. That played the mean pinball.
That's a joke about Tommy. You know, there's a musical called Tom.
If you're gonna make jokes, you have to make them loudly. Loudly.
Sorry,
for the camera.
when Frank was a lad, it was all the rage. You know the Who?
Back then they had silent movies. It's not a silent movie. We're not going to put like little black things over the top.
Ding ding ding
Sometimes-
ding 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 ding.
Pinball machine.
Pinball machine.
Pinball machine.
Yeah, there we go.
They chuck him over the Brooklyn Bridge. Unsolved murder for quite a while. Like, let's say a week. And
Pinball killer.
I've got issues with it, but anyway, go for it.
his body resurfaced.
I would do.
Still attached to the pinball machine.
Aye.
Because
Gases.
the gases, so much in the way of gas comes out the body. So I can imagine your Indians, or Injuns, as you call them, attaching maybe like a brick and a half
They're different.
and a lump of wood. Like, they're still going to come up.
That's dinner for them.
Pinball machine.
Aye,
That's
a lot.
heavy.
That's a lot.
Tilt.
But yeah, one thing I want to say about that, right?
One there.
Who's not going to see someday with a dead body and a fucking massive pinball machine on the fucking Brooklyn Bridge,
So you put a
chaining
pinball
them up?
machine in the
But surely they'd be like, that's the mafia, we'll not grass them up.
And also, he was probably alive at the time if you're thinking about it.
Even worse,
Why
you
would
guys
you-
struggling to change to a pinball machine.
They've got like this pinball machine. Why? Just want to take a few pictures, eh?
Well, I prefer for your original point of, excuse me, yes, I see you're attaching something to a pinball machine and throwing it over. Yeah, I'd like to make a citizen's arrest.
Gun.
Yeah.
If it was you, you'd be like, that's probably not the best way to do it. That's not the optimal way. What you want
I'll
to do?
tell you what, I'll add a bit to the story.
Yes.
Maybe they dredged the river and still didn't find the body. How's that?
I like it.
There we
That's
go.
much better. Much
Right.
better.
So there's for pinball machines.
So people did report it, maybe.
Did you?
No, it's
big holes.
well, you know what you
So when you were like,
you know what you're like on the flower.
so when you were like a young cockney, like, were you taught how to get rid of bodies and stuff, like with the tradition of like the craze and that?
Don't you get that up here?
What?
Don't you get that at school up here?
No.
Oh.
So like, like when you were like, being taught how to like it's like
Education's
basic
so
skills of a cockney, like stealing, getting rid of bodies,
Pickpocketing.
lying, yeah, all that sort of stuff. You got like
How old were you when you left Cockneyland? Did you say
5?
I'm guessing that, right?
he got his,
So
fir-
did
he
you-
got his first knuckle duster on his first birthday.
So you've kept the accent since the age of 5.
I went back.
Can you still steal stuff?
Oh,
Like a boss,
Like a boss.
like a mafia crime boss.
I went back down to London for 10 years.
How old?
21.
Really?
So
What-
you're 21 when you went
And did you
down,
go
And I came
or
back.
you came back.
Did you
20,
go-
21.
Did you go back to the ganglands?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
I stayed in North West London.
Where's that?
The northwest.
No, but like what area is it called?
Just left.
Edgware.
It's left of northeast.
Edgware. Sounds like a kind of like plates and stuff. Yes, I have some Edgware furniture. It's very posh sounding. Is it posh?
Mill Hill. I stayed in Mill Hill too. That's
Isn't it-
a bit more
What's the
posh.
football team?
Is it? I thought it was
John's lot, Mill Hill. I don't know.
What's the football team in that?
John's like Jews.
Right then. Monday.
What
So
did-
That's Jews and Catholics have got fan base now.
So what football teams in that area then? The Arsenal? No.
North
Spurs,
West
no?
Spurs would probably. Yeah.
Tottenham Hotspur.
So what did you
Not
do?
really.
What did you do down there?
Well, I went down as a plumber.
Uh huh.
Wait, is that a mafia club?
Is that the end of the
That's
story?
true. I like to fix things.
Well,
Sorry.
I can't be dead if you want to.
Sorry, Frank.
Let's
You're
not
right.
talk over each other, folks. Come on.
Thank you, William.
You're quite right. No,
Went down as a plumber.
they're fine.
I started doing doors on a night time.
You enjoyed her. Sorry.
Because doors are made of wood.
There we
Long
go.
trade, William. You can tell you're middle class. A joiner
Yeah.
and a plumber, two different things, William.
It was his joke, mate. Don't get at me. I thought it was a good one.
He's a tradesman.
He's a tradesman.
He's got his own entrance.
So you made pipes in the daytime, or you joined pipes in the daytime and made doors at night.
That's right.
Right. Good.
And that was it.
So what kind of doors did you make?
Like angry doors.
I got you were on the doors. What kind of? You were a bouncer in the northwest.
Did you meet the Crows?
Northwest and Central London as well.
Was it quite a rough place you worked?
Not really.
What was it called?
Did you
Can you
box?
name?
Pardon?
Did you box?
Did I box in London?
Yeah.
No.
Can I
So
ask
you just were just this random kid, it's fresh out,
You
fresh
boxed
out,
before.
fresh out Eton, and you go down there and you're just like, yeah, I'm working on a door. It's probably safe.
I know, but I think I was into bodybuilding at the time.
Well, yeah. How big were you?
A lot bigger than this.
How
Sorry. Just the idea of- Sorry, mate, you gotta leave. What are you going to do about it? It's going to start
start squatting.
Look at Edinburgh Dolman.
Starts posing.
Yeah.
She's like, look, I could throw you out quite easily.
I'm the running.
Did you meet any of like the sort of legendary London hard
Just standing
men,
there, just
or
going. Oh, but hang on.
Yeah, the governor, did you know?
I'm not him, man.
Lenny Bruce? No.
Yeah,
Lenny
Lenny
McLean. That's the
It's
one.
time.
Giant man.
Oh yeah. Speaking of bodybuilding,
Let's check out your biceps then.
aye, we've got it's like a tradition on the Dregscast. It's not a podcast.
It's not. You take
So what we're doing here, for those of you listening to the audio, is we're measuring Gary's biceps there.
Here we
Before
go.
we start. So you met Lenny McLean.
Oh, around 15. Let's have a go.
God.
That's coming up about 11, isn't it? Come on, let's face it. There's nothing there. Bend it, bend it.
So peaks. No, you need to go. That's
I
not
see.
that's not the belly.
13 and a half.
Not
Just a little bit less than Alana's.
Hang on, I've got bigger guns than you. There we go.
It was, she was 13 and 3/4.
So
You're doing very well.
Thank you.
So when you say you met Lenny McLean, alright, McLean?
McLean, aye.
McLean. So it's like a. So what? How did that? Tell me the story. Who guess?
Did you meet Lenny McLean?
I mean, we
Who's
went,
that?
The governor. The
Oh,
governor.
really?
I think it was Camden Palace
Oh, huh?
with friends, and my friends were friends with him, and that was it.
It's like a party, like. Or,
He's a big guy.
He's huge. Like he stood in the door and he filled the door, and he was a huge man. Like.
And you were a bodybuilder at the time? with your 13.5 inches. How big were
You
you?
must remember, you're talking 30 years ago.
So that's the 80s, right?
Just under.
So were you taking lots of vitamins and
I
minerals?
was.
Were you taking any other stuff, or was it you natural bodybuilder?
Yes.
Natural. Got you. How big were you?
Oh,
You'd have worked in.
You do know. Don't.
You'd have worked.
I love this when you ask how much. What's the weight? Oh, couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
You know to the exact.
Exactly. He's got it written down.
Did I tell you about the guy who comes in? He's obviously huge. He's got these pecs bulging out. He's got like pillows stuffed up his t-shirt. I said, how much do you bench? He says, oh, I don't bench. I said, come on. He said, no, I've never benched. I'm like, you don't get a chest like that without benching.
Cables.
And he goes, nah, never. I said, well, come on. He says, I'll do dumbbell press. Which isn't it? It's not even like flies or
it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's just you've got like this instead. So,
Frank, how big were you? What were your stats?
you'd have worked in stones back then, and we'll convert for
A metric.
15 stone.
15 stone.
50.
What's that, a kilogram?
What I didn't get
It's over 100.
Kilos now.
Over 100
it's over
kilograms.
100. No, it's no 16's 100, I think.
Well, 80 kilograms is about 12 stone. So,
I'm just going to do the calculator.
Yeah.
You get these guys who are quite clearly like fucking juiced.
yeah.
So like, you on drugs?
Nah, not at all.
Never touched
Just
drugs.
recreational price. Yeah. So how many stone did you say?
50.
15 stone. 50. 15. You're competing.
95 kilos.
You weren't competing. So you're into bodybuilding, but you weren't competing.
In fairness, you're one of the strongest people I've met. Like,
Yeah.
Freakish are strong.
13.5 inches of like, woo, strong stuff.
What got you into bodybuilding? Which priest? I just want to be big and mean. It'll never happen again.
I'll never let that piece touch me again.
Did
So when I get big, I'm going to fuck that piece up.
I don't want to get too deep into your dark past. I do. But were you touched by priests at all?
No.
But you
Did
touch
you
by
touch the
religion.
priests?
Yeah.
No.
You got big then, touch the priests.
Did you know of anyone who was touched by priests?
Do I know anyone?
Yeah.
I know a guy who's touched by a priest.
No.
Really?
Genuinely.
Genuinely touched.
The guy, no, it wasn't a priest, I tell you why, it was a scout guy.
It's totally different.
It's rubbish.
such a
It's
half a
to-
dozen.
No, it's to-
No.
he was
Right,
speaking.
he's not in the Scouts.
Are you in the
that.
Scouts? I'm scared of that.
Oh, well, this is
I am a scared
It's
leader.
all making sense.
beast.
Don't talk over each other.
Aye, so they were having a conversation. He's like talking about like he was drunk, talking about I used to work for him. Like the first,
I bet you did.
your first sexual experience. Everybody's like, I kind of fumbled with this, I fumbled with all this kind of shit. He's like, my first sexual experience was with my scout leader when I was fucking like 12, and we're like, what? He's like, aye.
It's a cry for help.
He's like, the scout leader made me wank him off. And we were like, aye, we don't wank him off. So we were like totally shocked. I was like,
Hang on. No, okay, sorry, pause. Question, I'll ask it after. Carry on.
so I was like, well, you know, really like fucked up and cut up about it. It's like, it's what could I do? I was only 12. Never bothered him at all.
Right.
Like I used to wonder because when you try and squeeze past him at work, like if he was in like a narrow corridor bent or whatever doing something, and you squeeze past him, you're like, alright, like scout camp. So we thought he was joking, but he genuinely like the scoutmaster made him wank him off.
Was he a homosexualist?
No.
So here's my question then. So, I think you've answered.
This was like in like 50s.
So he was molested as a child, but yeah, it didn't muck him up. It didn't have any effect on him.
Never affected him at all.
He didn't think that, you know what, I'm going to have a court case against you so I can get some money when he was older.
Just
He's not famous.
You
so
know
that
what?
could be why.
I reckon you could have wanked off your scout leader as a kid, and you'd have thought you were getting the better of him.
I'll show you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not enjoying this.
I really turned that.
No,
Tastes yucky.
I think some people.
My dad's tastes better.
Some people will be like, "Fuck it, let's see what it's like." I've never wanked off a grown-up before.
I've never wanked myself.
and some people will be like,
well.
It's like we were talking before about talking to saying hello to strangers at the door or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he makes me say hello to people and I don't even know them. And some people are like, "Oh hey, how are you doing?" You would be just like, "Oh, right."
It's contextual, right? If you're totally,
You'd be texting
if you're
at the same
totally
time,
above it,
probably.
you'd be like, you know, wanking off the skeleton leader, and you'd be like, just want to play football. Like, what? I don't even know what's in it.
Maybe you wouldn't understand it.
Yeah,
Just
that's
be like,
what I mean. The context.
"Why would
If
it?
you knew,
This little dribble comes out your arm, you're like, "Can I go now?"
oh god, have you
Alright.
got? I think you got an infection, mate. There's pus coming out of this.
When I was a kid,
Is this a touching story? Are you coming out?
Aye.
Right.
This guy,
That's two separate things. It's a touching story.
We-
Man,
it's a touching story.
Man,
We-
touching another young boy.
My turn.
Right,
We used to get these phone calls. I'm a hoose, and And yeah. And this guy used to say to me, hello, you know, I'd say my phone number, because that's what you did back then, right? Can you imagine saying, did you used to do this? I used to go, Matter T377, right? Because you only had a few digits back then.
But you made it like a jingle, wasn't it?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Because my mum always answers the phone, she's like, I want to see the number, can she phone
Just
her?
make it
Oh, in
up.
fact, phone her. Yes, but we'd be like, it's like a little...
08, 98, 24, 36, 97. Yeah, so like, I was going to say it'd be weird to do that now, like, with your mobile.
Just
0762 984 186. That's not my number, but dial it anyway. Right, so anyway, this used to phone up, and I'd say, hello, whatever, my number, and they'd say, she'd say, hi, hello. And I'd say, hello, hi. I'd say, hello, hello. And he'd say, I can't remember, I don't think there was any setup. He'd just go, would you like that? I'd say, what? He'd say, would you like that? And I'd go, like what? And I'd say, would you like that? I'd go, and I'd say, and I'd probably repeat my number and say, who is it you're trying to speak to? and no clue.
you'd probably want my mum.
Yeah, exactly, trying to get my mum. And he called him.
William, go to university now.
And he'd get my brother, and my brother, he's also helpful, very generous on the phone.
What are you doing?
Yeah, help you with what? Would I like what? Would I like what? I'm sorry, I feel as though I'm not, my customer service wasn't as good as it was then. Would I like it? I don't understand. I need to get further into it.
Yes, I would like it. I do like it.
He phoned for maybe 2 months, and always I was very helpful. And I always felt as though the phone had got cut off. Like, oh shit, I've lost him again before I could. But one day he's chatting, and I can't remember what I said, but I said something that made him realise that I was a boy. And he said, "Oh, are you a boy?" And I said, "Yeah."
Did you think you were a girl?
Well, I was young. I had a.
It's like handsome, isn't it?
But I think that's quite nice, because a lot of people assume that, like, you know, these sex
Paedophiles only playing girls.
Paedophiles only playing girls.
Oh,
Not playing boys.
Yeah, they're gays as well.
Right.
Oh, horrible.
He was a straight mucker.
He just
Good on him.
Yeah, well done.
Didn't do it. That didn't do me any harm. A lot of people.
He was a nonce, but he was a ladies' nonce.
It was a ladies' nonce.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like, oh my god, you wouldn't believe what happened last night. Well, somebody phoned and breathed heavily down my phone. Not that bad. Not that bad.
Get me a puppy and you can come round.
I survived it. I'm a survivor.
But it must be like harsh if you're like 15 or like you're younger, like 10 or something. Something's like proper beasting you. Like you watch
When
that.
you say beasting you?
Like
You
watch that Broadmoor.
Told you. Can I just say, told you? He's off for that.
It's very warm. Very warm in here.
Oh.
On that Broadmoor thing, all the guys are like, oh yeah, I got molested when I was a kid. Like,
You'll have to not mumble, Gary.
Sorry. So what you're saying, Broadmoor? That's a prison.
Yeah, it was on.
And they were like, I was molested as a child.
I was interfered with as a child.
One
You
second.
were? Oh wait, no.
No,
the
they guys were.
prisoners.
So it must be.
Gary. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the
No,
tongue.
I think the
Shut
prisoners were molested as a child. So carry on.
The prisoners were molested as children.
Right.
Bang! Jeremy, I think he's got it.
So it must be like traumatic.
I must be.
Oh,
Of course it's traumatic.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no.
Borderline.
I mean,
Get banged.
it could be traumatic, but then
I think
if you come from like a shitty household, and that's the highlight of your week, of course it's fucking terrible.
I'm looking forward to going to fucking Scouts.
Exactly. First fingers on a Friday, fantastic. And then you go to Scouts.
I think so. This is the thing about Sir Jimmy is
yeah, he's not lost his name.
he's not lost.
Is he still a sir?
Aye.
You can't take that away, surely.
Almost like Sir Bill Cosby, but we'll get onto that.
What is it?
Do you hear about this?
No.
Well, I'll let you tell
No,
the
go
story. So,
Apparently, it's
Mr. William Cosby.
Yeah.
But this week there's been allegations that he has, and again I don't know if it's true or not, but he's drugged and
13 women.
13 women. 13 women
That's
he
the one
has
that come forward.
molested. Now, I don't think it's true. However, it does. There's a trend here of like, you know, whiter than white celebrities, guys who like, because you know Bill Cosby like never swears, never does all this stuff, and he's like, you know, untouchable. And they've all got this like sort of like dark sort of seedy underbelly or past or
Like
history.
Cliff Richard.
Like Cliff Richard, Rolf Harris, all these Sir James.
Jimmy looked like a paedophile.
No,
He was a fucking.
no.
See, when you watch, in hindsight, when you watch him, with the kids, you just see it being
No, but that's context.
I don't know how they never realised at the time.
I can't believe you're saying this. Like that's like, see that guy? Paedophile. See that guy? You can tell by the way he walks. Should we just get the baseball bats out right now?
Look at that guy. He's a vicar.
He's
clearly a paedophile. You know, the holier than holy.
It's not the gang man's now.
I ever watch him and he's like,
Proper creepy. Like.
Unlike the Lightmans over there.
Hang on, did you happen to watch this on a YouTube clip
Where the music was like...
of Sir Jimmy's 20 most paedophile moments?
Yeah. The paedophile stalks his prey.
What's the sound from Kill Bill?
Yeah, the screen goes red. So you want to go on a roller coaster?
He did.
Ridiculous.
Did you see this on the YouTubes? Did you? Just a collection of.
I better go and check.
I don't know when I've seen
I cannot.
I better go and check the facts.
Well, there was a.
I like because when these things come out, it's like right. I better go. Yeah, he was a bit creepy. Let's go and watch Noel's House Party from '92. The signs were all there. They weren't there. You're just thinking, you know what?
How did nobody see that?
Yeah, he's got a beard. There's a man in a pink suit with like spots in it going. Blue, 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 blue. He's clearly a paedophile. Allegedly, he's not. He's not.
What?
That's why I got kicked off
Yeah.
Inappropriate touching.
A teddy bear touching you, like
Santa, the biggest paedophile of all. Nah, that's okay.
He's safe.
I think
He drank
Jimmy
too much.
Savile
Can he get up?
beats Santa.
Oh fuck, Jimmy Savile was like.
He got
Oh,
You don't see Santa break into mental institutions to rub dead
Are you
bodies.
saying that Savile is
fucking dead.
No, that is allegedly. One at a time.
Because he's dead, you can just say whatever you want.
Gary, I want you to count to one.
One.
Frank, try it.
One.
That's how many people can talk at a time.
I love your lessons, lad.
Okay, good.
You should be a priest.
I should be a priest.
Or a scout leader.
Yeah, but like, so basically, Bill Cosby has been accused of drugging women.
Be accused.
Air quotes accused.
I would do this.
No.
Accused. Well, because I don't know the full story. Because
He's not going to sue us. Fucking.
you come at me. You talk to me on the Dregscast. You try to say. Yeah, that's my Bill Cosby impression. Hang on, it's not finished.
You were better earlier.
I know it was better.
The more drink you have, you should stop drinking. You were really good at it earlier.
Me and my wife Camille.
Is that Borat or fucking.
She pays the money for the quietness of the rape victims. I do not know what's going on. He's 92.
Is he?
He's 92. So basically, he's won. Him and Jimmy have won. Whatever happens, they don't care.
Aye, because Jimmy's died. He's been
Jimmy's
like,
dead. He got away with
bam,
it. Yeah, either he got away with it and he's like laughing, or he didn't. And it's the memory of Jimmy's. He didn't give a fuck. He's dead. So essentially, Mr. Zombie. Mr. Crosby, that's Cosby. Yeah, he's 92. He's got
He's got away with it. He's got away with it.
Life
Yeah,
sentence.
he's won. Life sentence. Scar for life.
When I was about 17, and I was in.
Was
I
it very-
wasn't like you. I didn't grow up in the rough streets.
Was it a very good year?
I don't know.
It was a sorry, it's a song.
I got it, mate.
You got it. You got it. Gary, hit subscribe when you're watching this again. Good.
Right. So when I was about 17, I went to a party, drank shitloads of all the wrong alcohol, and poured them all together and got drunk.
It's called a cocktail in there.
Nah,
Not then.
That was a mess. And the next day, well, that night I puked up all over the place because that's what you do. That's what I did when I was a kid. And the next day I was an absolute state, and I was saying, "Somebody spiked my drink! Somebody spiked my drink!" There's no way. I was thrown up all over the place, and it was such a mess. And basically, it turned out I'd spiked my own drink because I was pouring
Hypnol.
vermouth into the vodka out of the red wine and all the stuff that wouldn't go together. And in my determination to get off my face, I suppose, because that's fun, right? And Bill Cosby, very famous, worth about 40 billion.
There's still a lot of money.
Probably going to parties. Probably girls are fancying him. I always wonder this.
Have you seen Bill Cosby?
No, have you seen the number of people who throw themselves after just random? Who's the guy who owns Playboy? Hefner.
He's like 85.
He's no hottie.
Yeah, but
Right.
but that's slightly different than the fact that he's renowned for being like a guy who likes who's an older gentleman who likes attractive women.
Well, you know what? Here.
Frank here.
I think most older men like attractive women. So
No, I
A
think.
lot of men. Frank is the voice of Hefner, right?
So I think right. So a friend of
He's a
mine,
voice of all men,
who'd
really.
always had a beard, and he was very nervous about shaving off his beard.
Not me.
No, not you.
I'll do it.
But he shaved off his beard, and a bit concerned that he wouldn't get the women anymore. And he got just as many women. And he was like, oh, this is interesting. But then he noticed that the women he was getting now, all their fathers had been clean shaven. And he thought back, and all the women he'd had before, the women had all had beards, right? Now there's plenty of people who, like 50 years old, who are marrying 21-year-olds. So their kids are growing up in an environment where it's normal to have a much older dad. So I think that's not that surprising that a 21-year-old hottie is throwing themselves at a 50-year-old billionaire.
Yeah.
Like,
that's got nothing to do with it.
right, but billions in some ways don't. Like, it's just like they could throw themselves after a 27-year-old billionaire, but they prefer the 50-year-old because that's what
He's got class. He's
'cause
got
that's what they grew up believing.
Yeah.
The father's the husband's probably 30 years older.
He's an old man, yeah.
So, and I always think, like, when you're almost definitely having this, does Bill Crosby really need to drug the women, or were there drugs at the party?
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from.
I mean, he's got the pick of them all.
Yeah.
He could buy hookers.
He's got a wife though. His wife,
right?
you know.
He can still buy hookers.
Yeah, it seems weird. Like, I mean, he's
He's
this
maybe
guy.
got some sort of fetish where he enjoys
Control freak guy.
Fair dues.
sleeping with women that are sleeping.
Did you hear about the Canadian newscaster or something?
No.
There's this.
Tell me more.
Thank you, Jack. So there's this Canadian guy who I haven't read enough into it, so we'll just jump in there with the allegations. Likes to slap his bitches around with it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Right. And so he.
So hang on, Frank. What's the story?
Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's saying he likes to have rough sex,
Right.
and the women are saying it's taking it further than rough sex.
Well,
Gum shields.
yeah. He said, well, no, because some of them are saying, like, it was just horrific. Like, we were having sex, and then I felt the scalp on my ass.
Right.
And, like, you know, and I didn't, at the time I thought there was something wrong, and then now I read in the papers that there's other women coming out about this.
Ah, that's different. That is totally different.
Right, but like, there's a lot, I think there's a lot of people who would be very surprised to be scalped on the arse. And I think there's a lot of people who'd be very disappointed if you didn't punch them in the face.
Portuguese women, no, Brazilian women.
I can.
No, this is the thing. So
Confirm, yeah.
you can get smacked in the ass and be like, we're surprised, might enjoy it, might not.
What's the difference between a smack and a hit?
Well, no, but the thing is,
Intention.
the difference is when you say don't do that. So clearly they've not said don't do that. So they're either.
But they don't. That doesn't work. Don't they need a word?
They for a start, they need to be told. They need to be shown.
Stockholm. Stockholm's the.
It puts the lotion on its skin. It needs to fucking know.
What?
But that's what first thing. They need the word. They need to know.
People participate in rough sex.
Women. Frank.
And men.
Aye, but
No,
if it's mutually agreed, like we're going to have rough sex, then it's going to be a safety word.
No, but it's not.
But if you're thinking this is going to be romantic and you're like, what the fuck?
Well, that's romance for some.
That's romance for some.
No,
surprise romance.
No, because of what I think is like he's obviously not. It kind of ruins it for him if he's like, right.
Slaps on Gil's face and she goes, "That's sore."
Yeah, no, but you
Well,
can't.
I'm away.
I would have thought
It's the heat of the moment thing, right? So if you were the girl and you're like, right, before we start this, you've been kissing passionately for 5 minutes or whatever. Yeah. Sorry. Time out. I'm about to make love to you in a very passionate way. This passion may, manifest itself in me slapping you on the buttocks. Can we have a little rundown?
I don't think
what's
they're
acceptable?
getting slapped in the buttocks.
No, but what I'm saying is though,
buttocks.
no. Either way, you're not going to stop the passion to go. What are the ground rules? You're going to go into it and you're going to go. You know what? I'll do it. If she goes, I don't like that, then you'll stop. But if not, she's not saying.
You're saying that you're asking by doing.
Yeah.
Like give them a gentle.
Boom. Right. I love tap. Yeah. She likes that. Oh, she likes that. Yeah. She's not saying stop yet. She should know when it's too far. She should say.
Okay, so the
Philadelphia. Chocolate spread.
I agree,
Move on.
but I guess some people. I was, as you know, very innocent. So if I was the female and such a thing happened to me, I'd be like, what the fuck? Why is he spanking me?
Stop it. You say stop. What are you doing?
No, I wouldn't.
All right.
I'd be like,
you're not a female.
Margaret.
Yeah.
Can I tell that?
Tell the Margaret story. That's one of my favorite. That's a personal favourite of mine.
It's like.
It's involving you.
The name says it all from the start.
Could you pass over the bottle of the stuff?
Right. So.
Oh.
There's none.
No,
sorry,
there's the
Gary
red one.
Lark's name.
There's neat. Oh, thanks, Wall. Thanks, Wally.
Thanks for that shit.
Right,
Right.
I'll open it.
Oh.
So
It's better when you open it and tell the story.
Yeah.
So there was this lady.
I want the fiddle because it's quite a good story. Yeah, Gary, do it. All right. So this girl.
Lady.
What's the time? I need to get the story
Shall I
right.
tell Maggie and then you
No,
can correct it?
hang on.
So William was at university back in 1953, we'll call it. And there's a girl that he knew called.
Right.
Okay, we've got
The
it.
story's changed. He told me the story before. He was at a college of technology.
Now he's at university.
He's at a polytechnic. It's a former. It's not a university. It's a former polytechnic. It's the same thing.
So this girl, she was maybe 22, 23.
And how old were you?
It wasn't me. I'm not involved in the story.
Well, you
My
are
mate,
because you
one of
knew the
your
girl,
guys,
right?
My mate did this thing, right?
All right. So but we're going to keep it that way.
This jiu-jitsu instructor.
Hey, I can pull out the chopping board.
Put the flower back. Carry on.
So then this girl, she was a virgin at, let's say, the age of 23. And
Fat.
23, fuck.
Fat.
I know, like,
Fat.
how
Ugly.
old were you when you lost your virginity, or gave it away, or threw it away? And how old was the vicar?
The priest, man.
Was that
Vicar,
your,
sorry, the
I was
priest.
gonna say,
Scout, we don't.
was that your first scout camp?
You were how old?
14.
14, Jesus, and you?
17.
Good gracious.
But I went with that girl when I was 14 when I was 20.
You were 14?
I went
You
for
fucking mug.
She was-
Absolute mug.
I fucking hate her. I hate her. I hated her for like the
I
last.
plugged that. I better stay with
Shite
it. Just in case. It's
She's like, I'll kill myself.
Gary,
and finish.
it's only 9 months you need to stay with them. It's fine. No, make sure 4 years just in case.
When you hold this up, it means we're out of time, eh?
I know.
Have we finished the Margaret story yet?
No, we
No,
haven't
wait,
started.
I'm just interrupting you. We can go all over. They're called open loops. So
Lost them.
you're 14.
14,
And were you confident?
Nah, I was smashed. I was totally drunk.
How old was she?
She was exactly the same age. I think she was.
Hang on, you actually
Three,
a 14
I
year
think
old?
she was 3 weeks older than me. Yeah.
Paedophile.
It was a different time. So, and how did it happen?
We go with each other for about 6 months before it happened, and we just thought.
Just walking around
Well,
the school.
how-
Then we thought now's the time. We'll just like get
Let's
serious.
commit to each other.
Aye, let's commit to
Wait,
each other. Aye,
is
aye,
this
so
the
we went-
American equivalent of going steady?
Aye, so we made like a sort of like a wee plan, and my mum and dad were. I know we were on holiday. And we got fucking so unbelievably pissed, like just
Sorry.
drinking.
Is it the pic? Like you make
I can barely remember it.
How long did you last out of interest?
I was drunk, so
Ages.
a minute, 2 minutes. I can't remember.
You last longer
Could be a
than
minute, could be an hour, I don't know.
Is it,
Some things never change.
I like the idea of him making a plan, like just drunk
Romantic,
down there, yeah.
romantic.
Did you get candles out and all this stuff?
No, I can't really actually. I think it was like it's like a dark room, and that wasn't the candles. It was just fucking
A dark room.
It was really, really.
I like the way you
romantic.
say the equivalent of candles and flowers is
Dark
a dark room.
A dark room.
Very
A
dark.
dark room.
Or was it an alleyway?
Fumbling about. And the best, like, what would be the best thing would be like a light room so you can see what you're doing, because you've never done it before, eh? So you're just kind of like.
Not just that though, Gary.
Jabbing away.
You're 14 at the time. You're the thinnest you'll ever be.
I was in shape then, like.
Yeah, she is definitely looking as perky as she'll ever be. Like, I want to watch this. Yeah. Her breasts are up at her fucking her chin. You're like, you know what? I gotta remember this one.
Oh, wait, like, you have a bit of a kiss. Did you actually feel like, how old were you? Like, I mean, when you
I was
say,
genuinely 14. Like.
no, when you say 14, I assume you're 14 in 3 days. Were you 14 in 360?
I was 14 in. I was 14 in April, and this is maybe the June. It was the summertime. I remember it being the summer.
So a couple of months in.
A couple of months in.
Just 14, Jesus
just
Christ.
14.
So what year is that at school? Like second or third?
I think it was second year, because we started going out in first year. Eh?
I didn't have any friends till 5th year.
Did you wear protection or were you like?
Nah,
fucking-
just bareback.
Did you chuck it in?
Eh?
Smashed it.
I genuinely can't remember.
You can't
I
remember.
can remember doing the deed, and then I'd be like a wee bit of blood, and I was like, BAM!
Teenage pregnancies. eh?
So wait, what do you mean? Like you knew about like pregnancy and that though,
I
eh?
was fucking 14, no 4, man.
So but
So you were running the gambit. You were like, you know what?
I'd already whacked to the scout leader. I kind of bit the bunch of these.
so you were totally confident in your sexuality.
No, I was terrified.
How long had you been masturbating?
Ah, fuck, that was ages.
Like how long?
I don't know, I'm not exactly how long, but ages.
30 seconds.
Year, 2 years?
I can't even remember like exactly when this first started. Masturbating.
11.
I was obviously before that. You know what I mean?
Oh, maybe not. I should,
Did you not first start?
so-
Sorry, did you not first start masturbating
so
at scout camp?
your second year at school and you're strutting around like
I was like the cock of the walk. like
you've got one hair poking out of your nipple.
I had a shirt that opened and had a big medallion. That's right, boys.
Did you actually?
Jim fixed it for me.
What was the first thing you did after you shagged this bird though? Did you go?
I think I got out of my Nokia, which was like a big Nokia.
A text all your mates going.
Just banged the missus. Send.
Hashtag all everyone in your.
There was no hashtags then.
I know what you mean. Everyone in your phone book. Though.
Everybody in the phone book, yeah. Nah, I don't know. I think I just.
Did you go play Game Gear or something?
I think I went and played like Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'm still trying to get past like level 5 on Sonic and Knuckles. So
that's fantastic. Can you imagine? That's like a proper last night out. What you did? Well, I'm going to shout a 14-year-old, then I'm going to go play a fucking Xbox.
Fucking Jimmy Savile.
Lad.
Right.
Frank, can we talk about that for you? What was your first time like?
So, because as you know, I went to. I went to a private school.
What school was it?
Can't tell you, it's private.
Hey!
So, I went to a private school.
He's here a week.
I'm here a week.
It's a 2 drink
minimum.
Yeah.
Right. Genuinely, I wore short trousers.
Hot pants?
No, till I think I can't.
Weather hot pants.
That's the headmaster called it. Who did go up and run away. But short trousers and long socks. Until I can't remember if it was first or second year. So until 13 or 14. So when I was still in short trousers,
you were
just shoveling your muck in some
lovely.
I think she's got a kid now, huh?
She has, but
she's about the kid's about 14. Hang on.
See when I see her in the street and I'm like, she's just saying ages me. Bam! She looks like shit.
Was she a hairdresser?
She fat?
No, she's done. I can't remember she's done at university, but her family are like loaded,
beauty,
minted.
My
dad was a big time photographer.
What does she do then?
Fuck knows.
No,
she looks like
shit.
Beauty, she looks like
that's
shit.
as we discussed before, the hardest job in the world. Single parent.
Nah, she got a gadget.
Alright, she got.
I finished with her. She was devastated, and then she started going with this guy like a month later, and then a month after that, she got pregnant.
Gary, do you feel kind of proud though that you broke her?
Do you want?
You know what? You can't find a better man than me, so now you're a single parent living on some gadget.
What's the my child?
Do you wonder if you're infertile?
No, I can't.
I am fully fertile.
How many abortions have you had?
I have no answer to that.
50. 50?
50.
Get in touch with Alana, she needs abortions. I don't mean she needs to get pregnant and abort them, but
Oh yeah, because of the stem cells. Yeah. So, Frank, can we talk about when you first made love?
I think I was bang on 17, like my birthday.
I bet the moths were hairier back then, weren't they?
They were a lot hairier.
Full hair. What was your mouth like? 14. It's a 14-year-old.
Hers was like
14.
Fuck off.
I think what you're saying there.
There was definitely other stuff there.
So you were
Definitely
17.
grass on the pitch.
So you were traditional. You waited till 17, right? And was it a beautiful experience? Was it as gory and bloody as Gary?
No, it was a bit of Gary's experience, obviously.
So was it a girlfriend or just a
It was
girl?
a girlfriend at the time.
So you were seeing her for a few years and you thought?
No, I was seeing her for a
few
few months.
Few months. Get sick of this.
Well, we were both virgins, but I told her I'd slept with other women.
Of course. Different time, eh?
Look,
You're no special doll.
I like it.
Let's make that clear right now.
I like this. It was like, you're my girlfriend. I've slept with loads of women. Why else we've been together?
When you're a young boy, you're showing off all the time.
You're talking shit.
Imagine like the fact that you try to break her down by going,
Sorry,
"Aye,
so
if you don't, I'll go out and get it."
You mean
So
nothing to me.
you better give it, because I'm taking it for all these birds over there. Fantastic. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You're lucky to be with me, doll.
Yeah.
I could have any of these birds.
Cool, Robbie, darling. Peggy Mitchell over there. Whoa. Cockles and muscles, innit? Here's the muscles, love. Whoa. Because you're a company,
So,
innit?
were you
Sweeping chimneys.
No, pardon?
were you bodybuilding at the time?
No,
Chim-
no. I was
chim-
boxing
chimney.
at the time.
Boxing.
Boxing.
So how long were you bullied for before you took up boxing?
About a week.
I don't know.
Did you take up boxing because of the bullying?
Did your dad
No,
make
my
you
father had been a boxer, and we
Does your
My
father
father's a boxer, my grandfather's a boxer, my great-great-grandfather come from a boxing stock. Flat pack boxes, cardboard boxes, we're all boxers here. Oh, blimey, God. Sorry.
Anyway.
Carry on.
Carry on.
So as a family of box, so you started boxing.
Okay, I just
Hang on,
remembered
did
that
you box from Midlothian boys?
I have a story.
That's a classic joke.
on
No, Frank's telling me. No,
I want to hear your virginity.
no, I want to hear Frank a bit.
Yeah, I'm just reminding you. I've got a story
We'll
that's
go back to it.
that's due. Keep
Stop
going.
collaborating.
Where did we get to?
So you took up boxing because you come from a long line of Cockney boxers.
That's right.
That's right. Frankie Knuckles.
I started training at Meadowbank,
All right.
and that was the start of my boxing career.
How many fights have you had?
Oh, hundreds.
Have you? Like proper
How many
boxing fights?
have you won?
When did you start
Oh,
boxing?
Had it. I didn't.
Like,
I
if
didn't
you've won
listen
more
to
than
it.
you've lost,
Oh.
right?
Can I hang on,
Oh,
some
okay.
direction. 1, don't talk over him. 2, talk louder.
Yeah. So you've had hundreds of
Copy that
boxing
volume.
fights. Hundreds.
I'd say nearly 200.
Fuck,
200.
Was that like amateur or professional?
Amateur.
He says 200
You have
amateur fights. Loudly project from the chest.
From your chest. Say it again.
You're
Say it
ruining
again.
it for me. You're actually scaring me a
Look,
little.
we need you to be audible and interesting, not just
So
interesting.
how many? Oh no, how many? Like, you've knocked guys out, right?
Oh yeah.
How does that feel?
Brilliant. Didn't fucking say anything else.
No.
Yeah, it feels. Of course, when you start something, it's great.
So you hit the guy, boom, and it's just that split second where it just goes. Is it the whole body just goes? Boom.
To be honest, I've stopped an awful lot of boxes to the body with body shots. I didn't knock an awful lot of people out.
Well, the body shot, even then, you see when you hit them with that one
You
shot.
can just see them. You just see the life leave them. You think, oh, here we go.
So did you know though you got this one?
You know straight away. As soon as you land it, you know. You can hear it. You can hear it.
Were you always a hard cunt? I believe that's a phrase, Gary.
That is a phrase. Well done.
He's a top boy.
Toughest squeezer had it.
Because obviously you'll have watched it. We were chatting to Hoss last week, who was a scared little pussycat his first few fights.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I did it, but like, you know, like, whereas you seem like you're like, yeah, that's right. I hit people.
For those of you who didn't watch it, go back and watch it.
Click subscribe.
But for those of you who
Also, just
Yeah.
if you could get the T-shirt review.
I don't know if you can see. Hang on. Hold that.
I'll hold it.
I'll stick off.
Oh, see,
What,
I told you to go this way.
I knew it was going to be gay. I knew this was going to be gay.
Just because I'm a skeleton there, Gary, doesn't mean I'm a head person.
I'm no wanking you off, Dregs.
I say at Dregscast. Nobody's using it yet. We're just at the moment.
Don't say that. These are available to buy. So
Oh yeah, these t-shirts.
Just send us free money, and you can have one.
Yeah, we've got a PayPal account. We'll set it up.
Different colours, or just buy them yourself offline.
Whatever you want. You know what? It's staying off now. Right. So
Put it on.
I feel
no, it's
uncomfortable.
staying off.
I don't like this.
You don't like it? Heads about. I'm sure YouTube has some sort of filter where like, oh yeah. Anyway, so Gary Frank.
Frank, so were you a hard cunt when you went into the boxing?
No, as a little boy, I was 11 years.
You can still be hard at 11.
Shit, were you a hard 11-year-old or were you like a pussycat?
No, I
Flaccid.
think, remember, I'd come up from England. I was
Ah,
English
I got you.
in a Scottish school.
So you had to be
I was
tougher.
a Catholic in a Protestant school.
So you did
It
get
was
bullied.
rough. It was rough.
Were you naturally hard though,
I
Frank?
never got bullied, but I got.
Picked up.
I would never. But my problem is that I wouldn't back down out things when I was younger.
Actually, naturally got to be a bit.
Alright, so that's what I mean. Were you naturally like a guy, not confrontational, but you're naturally a guy who's like, no, I'm going to stick up for me. Was that something that was bred into you, or you just like, you know what?
I think it's just a part. You're growing up. You're getting a hard time. You either back off or you.
So
for me-
what made you not back off? What made you just go, nah?
I don't know. It's
Was it the
it's
Cockney?
like-
I think it was the Cockney.
I think-
No, genuinely, I think like Cockneys in the movies anyway, they portray these guys who are just like, oh, darling. You know, they'll take as much as they give.
Yeah.
They're tough guys. So I don't know if it's just like.
But I think it's a nature nurture. I think some people are, whether it's kind of the way they're brought up, mixed with their genes.
Everything's the way you. brought up.
I think some people are naturally violence is easy to them, whether it's fighting
Yeah,
or
so
whatever. And some people are bred into shit, kind of like shit families, hard upbringings. So getting beaten by your dad and getting beaten on the street is kind of.
Were you beaten by your dad?
No, I was smacked.
Okay, so that's beaten.
That is beating.
That is
I agree
beaten.
with that.
Like, no, just tap me.
Did you get beaten?
Aye.
Did you get beaten?
Yeah.
I never ever got smacked once in my whole entire life.
So
I
I
never-
So,
I got smacked, like, no.
not to smack.
Actually, I got smacked.
I want to say this. So I had this girlfriend once.
I don't believe it.
Margaret?
Margaret. Yeah. So
We never finished that story, did we?
no, we did. That's what I was saying. We got one in the bank. So she's I said, were you ever spanked as a kid? And she says, I remember this one time, like
Bang up.
like my mum was telling me to go to bed, and I was like, nah. And she said, go to bed, nah. And so I just ran away from her, and I ran around the dining room table, and she was chasing around the dining room table. She's like, I'm gonna put you to bed. And she was like, couldn't catch me because I was so fast. I'd run on the table and I was laughing my head off. And she was getting like frustrated. She couldn't get me. And I was like, she's like, I'm gonna get you. I said, was she angry? And she's like, what do you mean? And she said, I said, was she angry? Was that like that's the angriest you've ever seen her? And she said, I guess so. She said, if I catch you, I'm gonna smack you. But what she actually meant was, whoa, if I catch you, I'm gonna smack you. And she said, she carried on laughing, and her mum just laughed too. And they just had a great laugh running around, and like eventually she caught her like, oh yeah, we scamp you, and picked her up and put her to bed. Not my house. Like, now that's the happiest girl I've ever met. She didn't understand unhappiness, I don't think.
Well, happy isn't like.
No, like she just genuinely had shed a joy for life, and like,
yeah, the boundaries were set.
Right, even when her mum was pissed off with her, or was trying to do something, or she was misbehaving, she was like, "This is great fun," and she grew up understanding that life was great fun. And like generally, the people who have been smacked about as kids turn out to be boxers with over 200 fights.
Scary fuckers.
Scary fuckers.
Top boys. So, have you ever been knocked out yourself?
No, I've been stopped once.
Once.
So you're 199 for one.
I was
hitting
the shoulder and I went through the ropes and I went through the judge's table and I hit my head on the judge's table and I felt I could carry on, but
you're knocked out by a table. That's
stopped by physics.
See,
awesome. that's what thinking.
Damn you, Einstein!
Damn you! So essentially undefeated. If it wasn't in the hands of the judges.
Oh no, I like this.
Yeah, but not stopped.
I like the idea of you being pubs and they say, I could take you. And you say, nah mate, only a table could take you.
See that table there? That's the only man that's ever taken me. So how did your first fight go? Was it just don't talk through it, I guess.
My first fight I think was
how old were you?
11 that.
Was at Sparta Boxing Club.
I know
which
it.
is a famous boxing club in Edinburgh, as you know. It was a tiny little ring.
I was scared to go in.
What about Sparta? Roughly?
It used to be in McDonald Road years ago.
Right, yeah.
It's been about a week
So
So it was like just a little show within the club, and we were Medibank boxers. We went up. I can't remember the guy's name.
Dave. We'll go on Dave.
Called Dave.
Like Dave.
And I remember. I don't really remember fighting. I know I won, and I know I left. And my father picked me up from. We talked in the car.
We didn't watch.
He missed it. He was working.
I love it. Frank. Just wrong. Did you win?
Francis.
Francis.
Did you win, Francis?
Frank. Did you win? And if you went, no, wait, drive off.
Did he drive like a Bentley, like an old brown Bentley?
No.
With Ronnie and Reggie in the back. Francis.
Terry McCann in the back.
Then he say, the hardest game in the world is the boxing game. Did you win, Frank? You lost. It's a struggle.
See?
That was like 11 years old.
Was your dad like keep
Imagine the damage to your brain.
What did your dad
No, but something was your dad like keep him at a distance, make him a hard guy. If I keep him close, he's going to be a softie. So did you win, Francis?
Did you win, Francis?
Did you win? And he says, yes,
Daddy.
Yes, father.
You can come home tonight, Francis.
You can
sleep in the ass tonight, Frank.
I got a silver farthing, father. Get in the van.
So he stopped beating you when he just sent you to get beaten up by other kids.
So your first win. How did you feel? Did you feel like
I can't remember.
So what was
you punched too many times?
I can't remember what I did last week.
No, but I mean, like, what was the first win that when you actually won? You thought,
okay,
I am the man. You must have been a couple where you fit them on like a solid
I think same with any sport. If you just you win. They take you up a notch. That's what boxing's about.
Everyone does that. Everyone does any sport. Just wins and wins.
No, but
some I've seen MMA for instance. I've seen guys come off the straight, hardly done it, get in there, in you go. Next minute they'll fight some killer that's been training for 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But boxing tends to just feed people.
Yeah, but you were being fed as well. Like the other guy's like, oh, you'll beat Francis.
But it's
he's only had 2 fights, yeah.
It's your friend who's had 2 fights and is the same age as you, and you're not fighting somebody who's maybe done jiu-jitsu for 3 years.
How long are the rounds?
Well, when you're younger, they're like 3-1s and 3-2s and 3-3s. I think the most you could box is 4-3s or 5-3s. I'm not sure now.
Have you not ever had a fight where you just like totally dominated the guy and like you just knew you're like boom, right, I'm gonna knock him out, Rocky style, boom. How did that feel though when you won that fight?
I've never
fought anybody, I thought that I was that much in control. I could knock them out when I wanted.
So you never had that like kind of elation where you just like
I jets.
you just walk in, bold as brass.
You boxing? No way.
I've seen you box.
Aye.
Who were you boxing?
He boxes for the Midlothian
I
boys.
was the Scottish champ.
Fuck off, Scottish champ.
Scottish University's champ, aye.
University champ.
Off which year?
I don't know who it was. But like, no, I think it was.
There's another guy called
Like I was absolutely terrified.
Oh, it's a Blind Davy.
Blind Davy. Blind Davy.
He had the bell on his head. He's over there.
Big fat
Just swinging
Davy.
punches for the bell.
From the slough school. And
From the slough school.
He was strong as an ox.
Like mom.
Hey, you guys!
you met him.
William, don't let him touch you.
He's got his own Dregscast. Aye, so like he was smashing me out, and I'd done jiu-jitsu for ages, so I knew about being calm. And I was like, right, two things. One, you're getting smacked about. Panicking is definitely not going to help. You're not going to get better at hitting people by being scared. So focus on being calm. So I did. And I was like, okay, so he's trying to hit me, and I'm like, I don't like this, but
I hate it.
But I went to the jiu-jitsu camp, so it worked. And then he's boxing about, hitting me and things like that. And I'm like, okay, I'll go for some shots. And so I hit it, I saw his face was open, so I hit his face, boom, boom, hit him a bit. And then his hands were up, and I thought, this is simple stuff, really, isn't it? I mean, it's not tough. Like, his hands were up, so I hit him in the belly.
Fuck off, bro. I didn't believe this.
Where's his hands? His hands are at his face, so they can't be at his belly.
Yeah, exactly. So I hit him about, he hit me, and I was walking backwards, and I didn't like it, and I was trying to get out, really. I didn't want to be there, but I realised I was kind of trapped. So I ended up bash. And my favourite thing, basically the bit I remember was I hit his head a couple of times, and I just kept thinking, keep hitting his head until something changes.
Why not?
Right? Because I didn't like. I think if you hit pads or whatever, you're like 1, 2, 3, and then you stop. Whereas I didn't have any stop. I just had keep hitting the
keep punching his gaps.
Just keep
hit the gaps. Hit the gaps.
Hit the gaps. So his hands come up, and I dropped down. I just literally squatted. And when I squatted, his belly was right open, and I remember twisting with all my might, twist, and just hitting him in the tummy. And then, unsurprisingly, his hands dropped. I thought, well, his hands dropped, he hit him in the face. I've heard about this. So I stood up, bang, hit him in the face, and he was down there.
How old were you at the time?
23, 20.
Was it university? What university was it?
I wish I bought.
See if this was like some guy from Galway and you would have got punched to the fuck. Some posh guy like, oh fuck.
So
Tony and boys.
So
We used to get posh boys who come to mid back sometimes.
I'll finish.
What do you mean, posh boy?
I'm just going to finish.
Pause.
Yeah, so he's down there, and I could see he was rocked, but I was pissed off with him for hitting me so hard.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think you were going to do this. So he was standing there, and I could just see, and he was kind of that if I just smacked him as hard as I could. He'd have gone down.
But you hit pretty hard yourself.
What I actually wanted to do was take him down, sit on top of him, and say,
Yeah.
So there was this pause. This is this pause of like I was angry that this was happening, I suppose.
Well, there's two things. Like you do hit very hard, yeah. Me too. You hit hard for a posh man. So you do though.
There's two different grades. Hit hard for a posh guy.
No, you do. Gary wasn't. You do it very hard. So maybe the reason he was hitting you hard is because he was reciprocating.
I think this is the standard, isn't it? Like you always go 1 for 1 and 1 for 1.
I'm going to go back to what Frank just said. We used to get posh. What he said?
I don't know if that's a posh boys.
We used to through the grinder and fucking like Gulman and Spartak and like the mad leafers.
Aye, your dad earns 20 grand a year, right? Let's bring it. My dad's on benefit. Bang.
I saw this girl at Hollywood, and I was going to say Hollywood boxing. I'm totally convinced she'd kick my ass.
Hollywood.
Is it Hollywood?
It's
Hollywood boxing, yeah. Like
Hollywood boxing.
She had incredible hands, incredible power. I'm like, I wouldn't go near you.
I hate getting punched. Honestly, I remember like first sparring with Frank. Walking around like that.
Why do that?
Fucking hate this.
Had to teach my lesson, eh?
Frank made. I remember first time I ever sparring with Frank. Frank made an example of me, like.
Aye.
Because I used to think I was a bit hard enough, so I'm sparring with Frank, going in, bam, 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 like fuck. Like got hit like 4 or 5. Like,
Frank, quite your ability.
Really?
It's his first class, Frank.
Only the first time. Second time it was alright. First time I go, fuck.
Yeah,
Frank's gonna go, you know what? I can't say it with my words. I can't say it, Gary, you're gonna learn things
I'll
from
get
me.
you in my hands, Gary.
You're getting it.
He's like, bro, hands! Move! No! Hands!
Is that the same guy you were boxing?
So you felt that beat up Gary, who had
Just think
zero boxing experience.
No,
I know,
sorry.
This is Gary's
No.
interpretation.
No.
Stop. Is this how you met Gary?
No, I like to point out.
Frank! No,
Sorry.
No, because you're not.
Frank.
I can everywhere.
Frank with 200 fights behind him.
I want to say these guys get more airtime than you.
They should do, but I'm not
They're not tonight,
about a
are they?
t-shirt. So, I told you, we're not doing it
just
raw,
swap shirts.
we're doing it planned. No, I was just saying...
You could swap shirts.
No, well, if you want to, but... It's got 13-inch guns.
50.
So, Frank with 200 fights behind him thinks, you know what? This is going to be like scout camp. I'm going to show this innocent boy how much fun.
Man.
I was like 20 at the time.
So you were 20 and you thought...
No, I was 20, I was like 23 or something like that.
So you'd had sex with a girl.
For like
14
10 years at this point. 10 years at this point.
The same girl, you thought, you know what? I'm bored of this, let's start fighting men.
Aye.
And you thought, so did you go... I'm going to take boxing lessons from a man.
How
did that work?
I can remember in the pub and Frank's like, oh, I'm doing some MMA because you're doing it with Darren and all that kind of stuff. I was like, I fancy that. Because I fancy myself a bit hard.
You fancy Frank?
I know, I fancied like the MMA.
Pipe down.
Aye.
Okay.
So I fancied the MMA. So then he's like, come on, we'll go to the Hawk Centre. So I was like, right, we'll go to the Hawk Centre. And then Darren came, what's his name? Darren Gunham. I started MMA. After I had this fight with Frank, 3 months later, I had my first MMA fight. Darren was like, you're fine, go for it. Like, into the meat grinder. So anyway, so we're like, we're going, Darren's like, spar with Frank. So I'm just tired, I'm like, never boxed before. Frank's just come fucking right through me. It's went to the ground and I'm lying on the deck. I'm just covering myself up and Frank's like, douche.
Hard, right?
Not really hard, but just like, this is my house. Bam!
Enough to let you
Go
know.
here, please. Bam! Aye.
I'll go up with him the bells, mate. Bells of what's it called?
Bull bells.
Bull bells.
This is how we do it, Bow son.
I kind of needed it because I used to think it was a bit hard there, so.
We are a bit hard.
Yeah, well.
Listen.
It's hard to find.
Well, so, hang on, you had your first MMA fight after 3 months.
Was it even 3 months, right? I didn't think it was maybe even 3 months, like maybe 2 months.
Did you win?
I was going to say, did you win? Right, because, so what was your mindset for that? Because I was going to say, for those of you who haven't watched last week's podcast,
Watch it.
or Dregscast, pause, Control T.
Control T.
You can watch the Dregscast with Hoss.
Yeah.
He was talking about his MMA. No, well, let's put it for those of you who don't know.
Well, don't just watch it.
Alright, watch it, and then he will talk about. Just in case.
How were you? Were you really confident going? Because why did you think you were hard cut, as you call it?
I just.
Is it because you're poor?
Nah, we've got plenty of money. Just like we used to think getting drunk.
Are you one of these people who's got plenty of money, but you're like, but I'm lower class, I'm working class, eh?
No,
but you're minted.
No,
You're bullying the rich kids at school, but you've got more money than them.
No. My whole family just works hard.
They're at home going, oh God, all our holdings have fallen apart. We've got nothing. And you're like, you've got big fat cigars, just. Yeah,
that must be a shame. Anyway, boxing. The working man's sport, I believe. Watch. 2,000 guineas on that boy there.
It's not horse racing.
What are we talking about?
You, MMA fight.
I just get drunk and just fight in the street and just think you were hard.
Why did you fight?
But like, when you went to your first MMA fight, what was your mindset?
My mindset?
Yeah.
I was just going to beat him up.
Right, so compare that to the...
how many street fights would you estimate you'd had?
500.
You can estimate. That's what estimating is. It's not accurate.
Right, Gary, see the number that you think... How many do you think you had? That's estimating.
What you do is you give a wrong answer.
5.
Okay,
right.
5. That's a regular.
Well, I don't know.
Now,
20 maybe, I don't know.
I want to give
wait. That's an estimate.
Stop. I want you to give me 3 wrong answers.
For what?
How many street fights you had?
5,
yeah.
10,
Uh-huh.
15.
Right, which one do you reckon is the most accurate?
Probably 15.
And for those of you at home, that's how you estimate.
Sorry, no, I was laughing at the fact that he's a builder. He's like, can you give me an estimate? What's that?
Wild me that.
Put the kettle on that.
Do you know, but I asked, I won't name him, I asked
Somebody.
I asked loads of people, like, how much to put showers in? No idea, mate.
You get that?
How much? Do you know, this was interesting. Like, when I was in Brazil, it's not interesting, but I'm going to tell it anyway. When I was in Brazil, like...
I thought this was a Dregscast.
He's never shut up. He's got a t-shirt.
Yeah, I've got a t-shirt.
Brazil, anyway, Brazil.
Brazil, carry on. No, you carry on.
You have your moment.
This is my moment.
If you're on the Twitters,
It's at Dregscast.
at Dregscast. There you go.
There you go.
If you're not on the Twitters, just type Dregscast, one word, you'll get it.
This one.
So in Brazil, all the women, I say all the women, like I didn't meet all the women, but quite a few of them, they kind of go,
An estimate.
30,
Day 3 is.
That's an estimate, Gary.
3 now.
30, 10 and 20. 30 is the most
Carry
accurate. Right, they'd go, whenever they liked you, they go,
What did you do?
gostoso. Right? Yeah,
What does that mean?
I like you. How do you say it? I like you. You like me? I like you.
I like you. That's how good to
Right.
talk.
Already, Gary.
But then they go like this, they go, right? And I always thought, you're about to give me a quote, aren't you?
What she didn't do was this going. It's going to cost you.
Oh, it's going to be expensive.
Was this?
Cost you.
Put in a cow.
With that face, right, we could do the face, that's done. It's the body. That's going to cost you an extra 30, what's it, dinero? What did he use earlier?
I mean,
30 peanuts.
I mean, I could come home with you, but
I can ignore the face.
It's going to
more,
cost you.
there's more.
It's going to cost you.
So, street fights you've done how many, Gary?
I don't know, 15%.
15.
So I
50.
For your
So I
t-shirt.
thought I could handle myself there, got to put me Frank, BAM! Nailed.
Frankie Knuckles. So,
I fucked up.
So you were really confident then? That's the good thing. So you're just
So,
like,
but I think it was because like
you were confident on you when your first MMA fight?
but that was total naivety because I didn't know what to expect. And the guy, it was in
Was it Hoss?
no, it was in what's that army base doing in England?
Catrick.
Cattrick. And I fought a guy who boxed for the army.
Right.
So we'd done pretty much loads of like
So you
what
should.
they call jets, like crazy, like maybe when we first started, really aggressive jets.
squeeze.
Right.
So we just kind of took him down and then like just trying to.
So did you win by knockout or by
I choked him out. I got him rear naked in the second round.
It's funny because like when Hoss was talking about his fights, he was like, "Oh, I imagine it like Rocky, Control T, watch it." This is the abridged version. I imagine it like I'm gonna go 15 rounds, I'm gonna get knocked out of it, and then I'm gonna pull it out the back. I'm gonna win somehow. Don't know how, but you were like, "Nah,
I
I'm just gonna beat this guy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna molest this guy." So that
I always think
scares
that
me.
though.
Hoss should be a fight with Sakuraba versus some other dude,
Aye.
some Russian.
Some other crazy.
So Sakuraba ends up on the bottom, right? But he's basically on his hands and knees,
Hiding.
and he's got the other guy's foot, and he's clinging onto the other guy's foot, and the other guy is just belting him. Oh shit! Sorry. Boom, 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 belting him.
Yeah.
And
The first one looked the hardest there. I'll be honest.
well, that's because I realised.
No,
that was
but that's what I was going to say though. Like in any fight, when a guy hits you, the
No,
first one.
I could have hit that like harder. I just decided not to because I don't want to keep hitting him. Quite pipe down. Right. Yeah.
I'll give you a quote.
So he's hitting him, and like Sakuraba's face is getting messed up. And if it was UFC, they'd probably stop it.
Yeah.
Maybe not because he had the hold of the guy's foot. And he's trying to put toe hold on, trying to bend the, trying to turn the foot, the foot. Boom, 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 and he keeps going. This lasts for like 3 minutes, and he's just getting pounded. And then he tries from another angle, trying to twist the foot. Boom, boom, keeps going. And eventually Sakuraba goes for a knee bar, and gets the knee bar, holds it on, and wins.
Yeah.
So it's like 3.5 minutes of just getting pounded in the head, finishes with a knee bar, and Hoss said to me, "That's what I thought my first fight was going to be like."
Fuck that.
Just
Fuck that.
totally on the back foot, but bringing it out in the last minute.
Did you have any thought when your first fight?
Oh, well, we're on Gary, aren't we?
Oh, no, but like I thought I'd switch it different.
Don't switch it because we haven't found his answer yet.
What's that?
I'm directing.
Oh no, we gave the answer. You give the question after.
No, wait,
You
so,
gave the answer.
so you walked into your fight being what? Totally like, did you feel as though it's going to be,
As soon as I seen the guy, I thought I'm going to beat him.
you're going to annihilate it?
Nah, as soon as I seen him, I thought I'm going to beat him. Can't we just like, it's like what we were talking about earlier on, Kim, like the lions can see the weakness in the wildebeest.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I seen him, I thought I could beat you. I
I
thought
can or I will.
No, I thought I
It's
just
done.
thought I could beat him. But then, like,
Did you call your mum all?
no, but the other two I had, I thought to myself, I could beat you as well.
I couldn't.
And I got beat.
Alright.
The first was like, I'm gonna.
No, but I never seen him, I thought I'm going to beat you.
I can beat you.
Oh,
and then
okay.
I could beat you.
But I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's maybe my mindset anyway. I think I could see anybody and think I'm going to.
But the first one was I'm gonna, and the second two was that I could.
No, I think second two I was like I'm going to beat you,
Oh, you didn't.
and then I just never done it.
She'd have probably done some more jiu-jitsu.
Ah, no, but the third time I was talking about just wailing on the guy. Then I got caught in a daft triangle.
So were you though, because you were younger. Were you just
I
like,
need to pee.
oh, I'm in here. I'm in here for. Sorry.
Why did you defeat?
No, so you I thought that. So you were just like, right, I'm going to fight this guy. Whatever happens after.
This is MMA.
Your first boxing match, your first ever conflict.
He was 11. He doesn't remember.
No. So okay, your first MMA fight. What were you like? Because that would be
My first MMA fight.
louder.
I was quietly confident. I don't know why. Looking back,
After your 200 fights in amateur boxing,
Where you've only been beaten by a table.
why would you be called? I don't know. I've had 200 fights. I won 199.
It is different.
How old were you when you had your first MMA fight?
Let me answer.
2007.
Right. How old were you?
7 years ago.
7 years ago.
So you'd been 50. Well, 52. But you'd be 54 next year.
So
52.
So you felt quietly confident in your first fight because you'd had 200.
Which fight was this?
I thought Woodburn Club was my first fight.
Woodburn.
Okay.
So Dalkeith Miners.
And how did you beat him?
Decision. I went the full 3 rounds.
How did you?
And then how many MMA fights have you had?
7.
Really? How many have you won?
4.
That's not bad, I suppose. That's chance.
You've lost more than you won. I mean, it's good odds.
You could toss a coin together.
So your first fight was a win
I win.
to you.
Myself.
Right. Okay. So. I just said, how did you win it? Points. But how did you go into it? Did you go in boxing like 1, 2, 3 and then take down? Or?
The fighter I was fighting was a stand-up fighter as well, so it was like a brawl really. That's what it was. It was a brawl.
But as soon as you touched gloves, was it like, you know what, I could feel this? Did you know he's a brawler, or you go, you know what, I know you're a boxer?
It came out.
Was it
punches, boom, 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 big straight hard punches come right down the middle, and I knew you could box. I seen him warming up.
How come it was a brawl when you'd done 200? Surely, presumably, technical boxing fights.
It's closing the distance and then going against the cage. It's different. Like if I had a guy steaming at me towards me, I would just bounce for rope and go a different direction, and he'd be gone. Yeah. But when you go back into a cage, you're not springing anywhere. You just stop. It absorbs you. You don't go off. It's a different game.
So the fight starts, and he's like coming in like
boom, boom, boom.
We'll call it dropping bombs.
Yeah, that was a great
dropping like big bombs, and you were like, right, I'm a boxer. I need to change my game now because I know he's a boxer as well. Or do you think, you know what, this is going to be a boxing match?
It was a brawl.
That guy had seriously heavy hands. He knocked it by Kenny. The guy that
Kenny Dugan.
The guy
the honey monster.
Knocked out Kenny. Knocked him.
So what was that? Because Kenny's a big guy. You're not a big guy. I'm just saying.
But I was fighting my first fight was 84 kilos. What? That's what I was fighting at.
How much do you know?
73, 74 kilos.
Wow.
How long ago was this?
2007.
Wow.
So you were my weight.
I boxed at your weight.
So you're a big fella.
So do you not think, you know what, as soon as he started throwing those big bombs, you're like, you know what, I'm going to throw them back, or do you think, you know what, this is not for me? Did you feel like outmanned by him, or do you think, you know what, I can do this?
We just juked it out really.
Actually, essentially, you're like, you know what, I can deal with this.
You took him down.
Alright, so you changed game plan.
I know, you went to the deck and then he was on top of you, then you reversed him. I think it was open hand slaps.
That's right.
And you slapped him like bang, sneaky punch, and everybody was getting punches in.
So he comes in initially, bang, 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 and you're like, I can deal with this, bang, bang, bang. And
Did you choke him out?
No, he went to point.
Why did you turn to MMA?
Boxing was environment.
I boxed and then I kickboxed, and then I was talking to somebody in the pub and they were telling me what they were doing. They said, "Come along," and I just went along and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. What?
Within 6 weeks, I was fighting them.
Again.
So what was your mindset? You're like for your first MMA fight, you're like, you know what? If I've had 200 fights, I'm pretty sure I can beat this guy. Or we're like,
I was confident.
You're confident. So
I remember I saw the one with you fight up in Dundee, and you went to hit him 3 times and then tried to take him down.
That's right. Swedish
jab cross hook.
Yeah. And I thought,
that's what it was.
You've had 200 fights. You'd be better off hitting him. Is that just because you fancied a bit of MMA? Would you recommend that as a strategy? Get involved, or would you recommend? Did you learn anything?
I've learned now, obviously. The problem I always felt that we had is we never sparred. I never sparred with good enough guys.
Yeah, that was cool.
You know what I mean?
Which part, the jiu-jitsu or the?
Everybody started at the same time.
The club I trained at, I wasn't getting great sparring. You know what I mean? I was getting to dominate the stand-up. So you're quietly confident, but it's a fool's confidence. You're not really, you're not getting taken down.
So it's part of the game rather than the whole game. You're like, in this aspect, I can win.
I shouldn't. It's ridiculous to fight after 6 weeks.
of course.
Ridiculous. Looking back now,
So is that why you went to take the guy down? Because you thought, you know what, I want to push myself. I mean, I know I can focus this guy, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna try and do jiu-jitsu, which I've only been doing for 6 weeks.
You can't think I don't think it's like that. You're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's what happens in front of you, what opens up.
You see, I went to a pretty big show around here, and a couple of thousand people watching and all this kind of stuff. And I remember that, like, one of the most impactful moments was when I was up the back, and because I was like cornering people and hanging out in the background and stuff. But I decided to watch a fight. Went up the back by the bar just to watch, and there was this guy just having a drink. And I asked him, what you think? And he's like, well, I thought this was going to be like that
KFC.
What do you call it? That KFC off the telly. Like, I've seen that KFC on the telly, and I thought it was going to be like that. I saw the posters, I thought it'd be like this. I'm like, right, go on. He says, well, it's not. Like, it's 35 quid a ticket. You think it's going to be, you think it's going to be like that. But it's just boys in a schoolyard fight, isn't it? I thought it was going to be technique, I thought it was going to be strategy, I thought they were going to be like, one guy's going to come in with a certain, like, I'm going to do this, and the other guy's going to do this, and it'll be strategy versus strategy. I mean, I don't know shit about it, like you say, he's calling it KFC, he couldn't even remember the name of the thing. He didn't, he didn't understand strategy at a massive level, he didn't understand fighting at a massive level, but he's still like, I assumed I'd be able to pick it up.
Yeah.
And he's just like, this is shit. So he just went up the back and just got drunk. And he's like, well, I earn a lot of money. I can afford to blow 35 quid and just hang it back. And is that what you're saying? You were? Were you just like, I don't have a strategy.
I can do this, and this.
I'm picking on you, Frank. I'm slagging you off.
You're naive would be the word to use.
Me?
Not myself.
Me?
I was naive.
Do you want some?
Fight!
I was naive.
Funny!
If I was to say to a young man now coming to the game, I'd be at least a year before you take a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Learn a bit of the game. Don't just, I used to do a bit of stand-up, I'll be fine. It's ridiculous.
I'm a bit of a ticket. You're in, mate. You're in too
I
much.
said to him, man, it's all the scam in the world. That's everybody. And I said, get out here behind you. Get in the grappling, get in the punching, get in the kicking. That's 16 months.
I had a guy email me once. He says, I'm looking for.
What you want?
I hear you. I hear you train the fighters and that.
Shut up, paper chin.
And he says, I'd like to go to. When can you get me a fight? I said, well, have you trained before? And he says, nah, but like I'm pretty scrappy. I reckon I'll be all right. I said, what do you mean? Like, have you done have you had like street fights or whatever? He says, nah, but I'm a gamer, eh? No.
Okay, a gamer.
A gamer. Like, I don't quit easy. And then a bit later on, emails back and forth or whatever. I smoke a fair bit, so probably I'll give up the smokes for a couple of weeks. I'll be right. And I'm like, just a suggestion, but maybe you'd come across and
have fun.
We'll just do a bit of jiu-jitsu. There'll be no hitting or anything. Because a lot of people get stuck underneath. Somebody sitting on top of them. It'd be awful if that happened in a fight. He's like, nah, I'll be fine. I'm a scrapper, eh? So eventually, of course, he lasts about a minute before he's totally out of breath, and I think he totally underestimated what fighting is, kind of thing.
Because especially when somebody's trying to hurt you, just as much as you're trying to hurt them.
Yeah,
and it's proper fucking difficult.
It's personal.
Yeah.
I'd never had any boxing fights. Like the very first time I'd ever stepped in the ring was an MMA fight. It was hard and kept me. I can remember being absolutely knackered, in the second round.
I take it very personally.
Proper fucked.
Yeah. This is something I think people are most surprised by. They're like, I can train for 2, 3, 4 hours. I don't get tired. And then they do one round, and they're more tired after one round. And you can't warn people of this, because I'm like, you will be adrenaline to fuck. Nah, I'm alright. I'm a scrapper, eh? I'm confident.
Sure.
No. You're gonna be exhausted. Nah.
See, I think that the hardest thing for me
fitness,
is I take it very personally. So I mean, I'll be fighting somebody. I want them as hard as I can because I'm a nice guy again. I'm gonna.
Oh, nice guy.
I'm gonna. Yeah. So when they hit me really hard, I'm like, ow! Why you did that? I'm a good person. Why you hit me so hard? I don't like this. This is not nice. I mean, You know, I mean, I've got a few racist jokes and a few, jokes about the Zale people, but I'm not a bad person. Why? I don't like I don't like it. So then when they hit you a few times, you're like, oh, I'm going to give this back to you. Maybe more. It's like, and then you start, it's just like, for me,
I think that'd be a terrible way to go into an MMA fight, this idea, like, I'll just go half-hearted for a bit.
Yeah.
Should we just warm up for the first round, Steve?
I think
just go like...
That's why I like
for
jiu-jitsu.
me. No, part of it for me is like arrogance. It's like, well, you're not going to hurt me because I'm really good. Why would you disrespect me by hitting me hard? Like, why would you do that? Because you know I'm going to beat you. Oh, you hit me hard. Why?
Come on.
We've just met. We've just met back there.
It's the old Tyson thing, though, isn't it?
What's
Everybody
that?
has a plan till they get hit in the face.
That's exactly.
They have a plan
like a game
to get hit in the face.
Till they get hit in the face.
Right.
You can have all the best places, and when somebody lands a heavy shot on you, bang, and you're not, and somebody's not used to it. That's when it all changes.
But don't hurt me. I'm a nice guy. I'm a good person. I give to charity.
That's why I like
recycle.
I would give to charity.
Jiu-jitsu's like, the non-impact. I hate like when you after sparring, like, oh, I've got a fucking headache.
Yeah.
But like after jiu-jitsu, you just maybe got like a stiff neck or a stiff arm, or whatever. But you still feel like you've competed and you've pitted yourself like man to man against somebody, whether you've won or whether you've lost, whatever. And then, but you've still got that same kind of feeling of satisfaction. But without the concussion.
See that boxing fight thing I was talking about earlier? Like a couple of days later, I was like, whoa! I just realised I was pretty concussed after that. And I carried on with my day. So 2 days later, third day, I'm like, whoa. I mean, I thought I was concussed.
Still feeling it?
I thought, well, I'm over it now. Good job. 4 days later, I'm like, God, I thought I was over it yesterday. I'm overly over it now. And then 4, 5, 6, and I kept going every day as my head cleared, and I thought I was okay. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't. Like I was fucked. I'd say it took me 9 days maybe before. And each day I'm thinking, this is me back to normal. This is me back to normal. It's not until you start thinking faster and talking faster, you're like, okay, yeah, no, I was in a mess. That's why I don't do it. That's why I don't box. That's why I don't box hard. I'll play tape.
That's why I don't let my son box. I don't believe it anymore.
Nah, exactly. Especially once you've done jiu-jitsu, it's like, fuck, why would you do anything else? Because even if you're like a brilliant boxer, like you've got brilliant hands and you're really heavy, as soon as somebody gets a hold of you, choom, and it goes to the deck.
I think.
Come on.
You're getting fucked up.
There's something very primal and very masculine about if you could go up to a guy and he was giving you shit and you just go, bang.
I disagree.
No,
I disagree.
I'd rather bring it in close and
so
to the deck. If you could physically manhandle somebody, boom.
But when I was at school, like any fights I had at school, I'd always go for like a wrestling thing. And you go for Queensbury rules.
You blackguard.
Naturally, I go for like a wrestle because I never wanted to fight the guy. I just kind of grab his wrists and I'd be like,
headbutt.
just don't do this.
Yeah.
And then I try and I wouldn't tell him, and I'd be like, just stop it. I've got more adrenaline pumping through my body than you'll ever know. Just stop it. And then at one time, I remember one of the biggest fights at school. I remember I choked the guy out.
Yes, mate. Yes.
No, yes. I was like, it was my best mate, and we had a fight about it. I can't even remember what it was. It was probably about like sexual frustration. In reality,
I'll tell you how posh I am.
Well, so I had my hand against his throat, and it was against the wall. And I remember I pushed my hand right in his throat, and his glasses fell off, and I went,
glasses.
Picked up his
fucking. What's this? You say fucking like.
Picked up his glasses. I went, I'm sorry, I scratched your glasses. Let's not fight. And then took it off and gave him his glasses back. But it was just
You didn't choke him out then?
You tapped.
Well, I
So
could have.
I was going to say what I did was
it's a moral one.
That this guy was like, I mean, I didn't like the idea of fighting. I thought, like, I'd fought with brothers, and I realised the only way I could beat. I never wanted to hit them. I thought it was a horrible thing to do. They'd hit me, and I thought, well, that's horrible. I don't like that. So I'd always cause them pain. So like I was doing knee bars and ankle locks and stuff as a kid, just like because they go, you're hurting me, and they'd try and run away. So I'd do these things so they'd run away, and it was always this kind of little bit of pain. And I remember this guy at school trying to fight me, and fight me. Right? And I remember just it went longer the story, but ultimately I just grabbed his tie and pulled it as tight as I could.
Oh, so posh. So posh.
Not
bow tie.
not to choke him. Like, I had no intention.
It was his butler's tie.
It was just.
I'll get my butler to fight your butler.
It was just, you will not untie this.
Yeah.
So I was here, and so he's like scrapping around because I'm on top, scrapping around, pulling his tie, and then he's like, fight! And he grabs my tie and he pulls my tie and he pulls it as tight as he can.
So you fought my tie?
Yeah, so
you fought my tie before?
Right, so there's this tie pulling battle. Now, as I say, I'd had a few experiences with being unpopular, so a lot of people had pulled my tie before and I'd had a hassle. So I tied my tie.
Come on, boom!
No, so I tied my tie a different way. So as soon as we're finished, I go, and I untie my tie and retie it and walk off. And he had to cut his tie off. He had to cut it off, he couldn't untie it.
He had silk, he had cotton.
So, yeah, I'll show you how to tie the tie later.
Was it a fat knot or was that
No, you just spin it around twice.
Yeah, it's a fat one, isn't it?
Whatever you call it, I don't know.
That's a brilliant posh fight, eh?
Yeah.
Posh fight.
Yeah.
It's like they both got the pistols and they're marching away from each other.
I'll tell you the best posh fight. Always remember this. Ed, if you're watching this. So there's this guy in my school. Edward. So
Did you have a double-barreled name?
No, Ed on Cherry versus versus Benson, as we knew him.
You told me the story before.
Right, yeah.
That was the black man servant, wasn't it? Benson?
So
Yes, Benson, I fight for you, sir. I gave him the jab and the hook. Sorry.
That's better than
That's better than your butler. Yeah.
my story. Right, so I have no idea what happened. Do you know what a gabardine is? You don't. You do now. Gabardine's a big overcoat, like a Batman cape, long coat, right? So they're in the old school building, as they called it, and for some reason they get a bit of a ruckus. Ed and Benson. I wouldn't call him Eddie, don't be ridiculous. Blah blah blah. And Ed just pushes them against the bit of a hustle, pushes them against the notice board.
Recycling bin.
And Ed just holds him there with his forearm and just goes the biggest, hardest punch ever. Boom! And he hits the wall beside Benson, hard as the poster board. And we're like, holy shit!
That's a caviar silo, Benson.
No, we were like, we have never seen anyone punch this hard in our lives. That was a proper man punch. And Benson just goes, fuck.
Hedges,
right.
come on.
And Ed just turns around, spins, like flaps his cape like Superman, and just spins around and walks out. and we were all like,
Bravo! Jolly good boys! What?
It was quite clear. Ed had won. Totally, 100%. Nobody got hit. I believe his hand was probably pretty sore after that. It was the hardest bang. And if that hit his face, ooh.
Alpha males.
Right, there was no need to hit him. And I love the fact that he knew there was no need to hit him. Brilliant.
See the difference between a private school.
Maybe biting each other and douging. Biting ears off and shit.
I also went to what you guys would call a free school.
Oh no, a school.
A school. Yeah, a free school. And a school. and these guys, they were fighting. And
Scrapping.
No, they were ripping apart. And there was blood and stuff. And this guy tries to get up because he's sick of it. He's like, ah. And this guy kicks him and pushes him back in. So he keeps fighting. And then he tries to get up, walks away. The guy kicks him and says, keep fighting. Eventually gets up and says, and he walks like, what, you keep fighting? He says, no man, I'm done. And the guy in the crowd in the circle around them says, I'll tell you when you're done. So he has to go back and keep fighting. There's it's a mess, absolute mess. Ed hit a fucking
wall.
Caviar silo.
Caviar silo. Job done. No pain. But the thing was, the outcome was the same. We all knew who'd won. Ed. Right, done.
Big Ed.
He didn't need any pain. I don't know about his hand.
Mr. Milliband.
He's not bad. Ed, respect.
The most memorable fight I had, I remember at school was when a guy fly kick, a sort of like a Bruce Lee fly kick. I say it was the most impressive. It was the most memorable. The guy. I can't remember what school they were from, but they're from another school. And we were in class, and they were obviously Skyland, so they came in, and they were like, we're at the window. And we're doing our work and look up and these guys are two of them chucking out V's and that, and so the local hard gentleman, we'll call him, hard punt, we'll call him, saw this and he thought, no, Well, not.
Hunt that Derek.
They having this. So the bell went, final bell of the tail. So they ran out, and these two lads started like running along the road. So the hard punt of the school ran behind one of them. Super ninja fly kick one of them down on the ground. Boom, got him. Got, like left hook, burst his eye open. Right, and the second one again, same sort of thing, like Bruce Lee style. Like, but it was like in my head, it was like slow motion. But it kicked him in the head. Man, that's plyometrics.
That's fuck, that's crazy.
So hit him like fly kicked him in the back of the head, knocked the guy down just like that.
Blind.
Like, proper MMA style, like.
Blind the guy that actually was fighting Molly.
But he kept running. So after he knocked the guy, he just like, right, I'm going home. Like all his hanger-oners were like scooping up after. So the guy who'd been knocked out first got like battered like 3 or 4 times, and then moved on to like the next guy, and then like, and they thought, actually we can get away with this. So started like stamping on him. Obviously the guy's face was just like oh, it's horrible. I was like,
I hate seeing people getting proper fucked up.
See, again, I remember seeing just outside on the street this guy. He was lying on the street like.
Should be lying. Never lie.
Nobody.
Always.
And this guy comes up and like take 1, 2, 3, 4 soccer kick to his face.
I see that in Dunfermline once.
Huge kick, like horrible
noise. Oh.
But I was sitting out on the balcony and he walks away and he's like, whatever, you asshole, fucking cunt, as if he's about to go home. And the guy on the ground is about like trying to get up. And the guy turns around, runs at him again, boom, soccer kick to the head. And he does it, and he's like, oh, and the guy's down. And he gets up, the guy's like, cunt, and walks off. Changes my mind, comes back, kicks him 4 or 5 times in the head. And it was
horrible.
One, horrible. 2, totally unnecessary. You have 1, stop it. But 3, ridiculous. Because the guy never went like that.
It's crazy the punishment people could take.
It's crazy. Like he was still conscious. And the guy, at the end he's getting up and he's I will be fine. Like massive kicks. And he never thought once to cover his head or get his legs in the way, like pull an open guard kind of thing.
And it's because if you've been fucked up, you're just trying to stand up. You're just you're fucked.
Stay conscious.
I know.
Stay alive.
I've had a couple of proper like healthy gang beatings as well.
For Frankie Shrew.
No. Like I remember like 3 or 4 rugby guys, and we were in the pub and had it, and then I can't remember what had happened, and I was being a bit cheeky, and then one of the guys
ruined the rugby club.
Well, no, and
I'm surprised they gang raped you again.
And a pub where rugby guys drink. And I was like, I was smashed. I was like, falling about the place.
I'll take it all first.
No, I wasn't being a dick. I was just being really drunk.
Hang on,
like,
Frank, was he being a dick?
He was really a dick. So then I fell into the guys. Just like fuck off. So I ended up like I think I punched them or something. And then the 4 of them have just pounced me, boom, like these rugby guys, and just dragged me to the deck. And all I can remember is like they're just kicking me in the face. Like, so I'm trying to stand
with
up.
studs on.
Poof. And all I can feel is he's like jerks back, like
with a gentle like Ed taps.
No, these were like Johnny Wilkinson kind of guy stands weird and like take a couple of steps and boom. I can feel it like.
What does it feel like? I've never been kicked so.
Yeah, it feels like see if you like put your head in your hands and you. That's what it feels like. That kind of like dull thud.
Really?
Boom, boom, boom. So then at the time I never really felt it, so I stood up and I've been rolling.
It's weird that they're not trying to hurt me.
No, they were proper.
No, but you're like, doesn't hurt at all.
So I remember I managed to, one of them was trying to punch me, so I managed to grab him and we both fell. So I'm on top of him, but they're trying to kick me, but they're kicking him at the same time. So I'm covering myself up, but they're booting his mate in the face. They're kicking their mate in the face.
Terrence, I'll show you.
He's like, you're hitting me. But like I was just covering up, but I can remember them just like.
So did you win or lose?
Oh, I got fucked up.
Was it a loss?
It wasn't that bad. It was a loss, but it's like.
Was they win?
I would say it was like a no score draw kind of like.
I remember talking to this guy who I've never met. Like somebody, I can't remember who, but somebody put me on the phone to him. Oh, he does martial arts too. You want to talk to him?
Oh, see.
Weirdest dude.
He's got a little hobby like you do.
Yeah, exactly. chat to Derek or whatever, Del, Steve, whatever, not you. And he was saying, I remember getting the street fight. Like there was 4 of us. There was one of them, so we just like smashed him about.
Made sure he knew.
The thing is, we knew he was done, but like we'd been training for 3 or 4 years, so we wanted to see what we could do, eh?
Aye.
So we just kept going.
It's a sniff after, which makes you go, aye, you're no good.
But the line I always remember is, there's nothing 6 months in traction wouldn't fix.
Is that what I said?
He said that. I'm like, it seems a bit unnecessary. He'll get over it. Right, but he just admitted 6 months.
You see these guys like one punch and die, like get ones and
But they're the
die.
accidental punches that
Can
hit
imagine
off the
that.
curve and that.
That's what head guards for at boxing. It's not for the punch. It's
So that's the fun.
When you were a bouncer, Frank, did you ever have to use your Frankie Knuckles?
yeah.
And
Did you wear the steel knuckles?
No.
did it ever end in what they call claret? With like
Did it end in claret? Look at you trying to get your cocky words.
claret everywhere, mate. Bang, bang, no.
Claret.
I mean, how was it? Was it bloody or was it just like right go? And that
It's
was
the
it?
90s, it was fucking mental.
There was a lot of blood.
Lot of ecstasy on the scene.
Was this about the 90s? When was it?
It'd be the 90s, yeah.
So that was about the time of all the drugs coming in.
Football hooligans.
I used to work on the raves.
Green Street.
So you were getting a lot of money per night then. I remember like it was like 300-400 quid a night or something.
We used to have. We used to have good money in it.
Is that what you get a night at?
But there was also.
How much were you getting?
With the mugging you off.
It depended where you were.
Give me a largest per night.
Well,
What was your best night, Frank?
That was your company though, wasn't it?
It's Friday night.
You ran the
I
company.
used to have a company, a security company.
He's a proper shitty character. So, go on.
Shy,
So what would you pay your door boys then?
Door
I used
boy.
to pay them. But this is, I had this conversation with my barman just recently. I used to pay my doorman, this is 25 years ago, £10 an hour.
25 years, is that what we're getting
So
at?
that's like
That shows how slow wages have gone up.
that's about 40 now.
Oh, that's great.
No,
that's
but wages,
great.
it's not now, because wages
No,
haven't gone up. In the last 25 years, wages have hardly gone up.
No, I used to get minimum wage.
It's-
Minimum wage was £3
Minimum wage is
an hour.
£6.50.
So it's doubled on a bit.
25 years.
That,
I
10 an hour,
think
that's
you can buy
fucking
what you
brilliant.
can buy
This is
now.
a total granddaddy conversation.
Oh,
A chump was just 10 pence. Go on.
and they were bigger.
I think what you
They
can
were
buy
bigger.
with your what £10 buys you now and what it bought you then.
Got a telly then.
Wages have hardly gone up.
You know, I agree, yeah. So you were, but
We have doormen work for us now and they're on £10 an hour, 25 years later.
yeah, but they're not getting knifed as much. Like these days, doormen are just standing there going, "Yeah, come in, Shirley."
I mean, it was the 90s, everybody was totally like taking ease, so they were just like
Dancing and cuddling.
cuddling about
Oh, no, where were you? Where were you doing? You were doing it in London, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you know, in like places like Hull and Manchester and stuff like this, like it was danger money. It wasn't.
people are getting fucked up.
people, yeah.
Glasgow and
Did any of you
You
guys?
also remember, it's not like a one-on-one. Doormen are just
Mob
really just a mob hand, like prison officers to get somebody out. Boom, gone.
Do you know the street I live on used to be the most dangerous street
This
in
street?
Europe? Yeah.
I believe that. We
Well,
were just sitting in the car and an ambulance went down. I said, "Can you imagine how many ambulances have been up and down this street?"
Right, not these days. Like back in the day, the bouncers used to just come here and work on the places for a fight.
But you didn't need. That's right. You didn't
For a
need.
fight, unlicensed. It was basically like, I'm a professional fighter. I want to practice by working on doors and box clubs. And the guys would come in from out of town and they would just fight. And yeah, people didn't come here. It was a dangerous street.
What was that?
Here.
Mate,
Well, they don't-
can you remember Barracuda?
No.
So then they licensed it, and then they started saying, right, we'll shut your clubs if there's this much fighting, and then the bouncers got licenses and stuff like this, which hasn't.
But they recommended that my uncle had one of the companies, and he said that once the license
Your
come in,
uncle?
my uncle,
Yes.
he said that like half the bouncers right away just lost their jobs. He said they couldn't get any work.
Yeah, totally.
Because they had criminal records, they couldn't get a license.
Well, more
Because these guys were like brilliant doormen, but they were
No, they
fucking
weren't.
total mean.
They absolutely weren't.
Yeah,
Like,
they
no, they
kept
weren't.
control.
No, I used to watch.
Well, by brilliant doorman, you mean,
Chris and boom.
yeah, exactly. Guys,
Right,
guys
right.
who could handle
Yeah,
themselves,
but
or
take-
guys
no,
with
they
customer
take-
service.
No, but a lot of the guys who come up through the violence got out of trouble.
I'll tell you-
And then later on, get learned.
If you-
I'll tell you
Do you ever?
I'll tell you what an excellent doorman is. I was in a club one night, and this guy comes down and says to me, "Right, mate, it's closing time. It's time to go home or whatever. Finish your drinks." So I went, "Okay, glug glug glug," and started down it. He said, "No, take your time. You've got 15 minutes. Don't make yourself sick."
Ah.
And he just walked off to the next guy.
He
You
hugs
feel
you.
like that's what they watch then. Keep on the good side.
You
Keep
are-
on the good side.
But most bouncers are like, "Finish it," and you're like, "I've got 15 minutes." And they're like, "Finish it, I've got 15 minutes."
Ah, that's the difference. Like if somebody's being
Right.
respectful, you
Just
know,
come
right?
on and talk like this, you know. So like I didn't like
Well, I
that.
think back in the day, it was like you're a good bouncer because you're a tough guy, rather than so it's not like a.
I don't think they were even trying to be good bouncers. I think.
Oh,
they
no,
were-
but like
I think
they were
just.
just-
It depended on the establishment. You know what they wanted on
Nah,
their
nah.
policies, wouldn't it?
I'm going to interrupt this conversation to say goodbye to Frank.
Yeah, I've just.
It's been lovely having you
I
here.
just checked the time. It's a lot later than you think.
Frank's.
What time is it?
It's
I wait for work?
9:02.
It's
Alright.
You're enjoying the conversation. It's fine.
I've enjoyed this, by the way.
Yeah,
You
it's
enjoy,
really good.
really enjoy. We're enjoying.
Once you get the camera at the road, there's
what camera?
What camera?
We're just talking to your man.
You talk over each other, you're fine. Right, hang on, we'll get the.
What's your time?
8.
Mitch Franklin.
Another 5 minutes.
Guy,
are you staying with them?
No, I'll come with you.
He's staying. He's staying.
No, I feel unless we're going to go out in the piss, I'm go back with Frank. Gareth.
You what?
Are we going out in the piss?
Aye.
Are we going? No. Are we going out on the piss?
Aye.
No, because I can't get home. I need to go.
Can you hear me? I've got to show.
The viewers are fascinated by it.
Anyway.
So, viewers.
Are you leaving as well?
No, wait, hang on.
Well, I was wondering, but
Well, we need to confirm.
I think you need to vote now. If you want Gareth to stay,
Text Bunny.
call 0800. Have we got a number set up? If you use Gary, yes.
You're welcome to sleep here.
Or 1.
I don't know, but are we just going to stay here?
No, we can go out.
We can go out, Gary.
Are we going out?
Right, viewers, vote now. If you want Gareth to go
The
out,
faster version. Do you want to go out? Right, we'll go out.
we'll go to Edinburgh's Premier Nightclub. I won't tell you what it is because they're not paying us.
Where are we going? Are you coming out as well? You're not coming out in the trackies or that?
No, put dreams on.
I'm going to come out in my Scout uniform.
I mean, when are we going out?
Like
after
half
Frank
that's
leaves.
fine.
an hour? Right,
See, I didn't can because I can you get like I need to go here.
Gary.
Gary.
Let's not talk about
Whoa.
how pretty you're going to look.
Wait.
Frank's only here for 8 minutes.
Here we go. So you want to go home?
I know. I've got.
Tell us about the fact that you show dogs.
Oh
I've
yeah.
got dogs,
Have you got a whippet?
No, he's not. He's got a pedigree.
A purebred parson.
Patterson Terrier.
Aye.
The beautiful dog.
So
It's mum.
They are beautiful dogs. I want to get one.
It's mum one. It's mum one best in breed at Crufts, and his dad's like a 4-time Kennecock champion.
So you're
700 quid.
you're what we call a hard cunt, and you have a pedigree dog that
Hard
you show
cunt.
and you show at Crufts.
How is dogs relevant to being?
I like dogs.
Okay.
No.
Who cares?
No. Hang on. So if somebody was to commit a crime, say in a place where you live, would you feel into the dags? Is that what you're saying?
No, more interestingly, I decide.
What?
So you're a fighter who has dogs that you show at Crufts.
Top boy.
Don't worry about what the link is. Fuck it.
We built it. I wouldn't call myself a fighter.
All right.
I've had a few fights.
You're a person who shows dogs.
So you got a Crufts, Gary? You got a Crufts.
How's the
the argument about who or what you are is not really relevant. Some of our viewers may or may not be interested in dogs.
Have you ever had a dog?
I've had a dog.
Have you had a dog? Frank's got like 3. I've got 2.
I'm buying a dog soon.
Honestly, like, nothing has ever brought me like any greater pleasure in my whole entire life than a dog. Like, without a shadow of a doubt.
Lots of people have got pets. You have a show dog.
If it was get rid of the girlfriend or get rid of the dog, I'd be like,
It's the show. You
It's
have
me and the
got,
dog.
you did
It's
get rid of the girlfriend.
that's why.
We're talking about show dogs.
I'm gonna.
Don't fight me on this.
Nah. It's a terrier. It's not exactly like I'm buying a fucking poodle. You know what I mean?
No, but even then though.
I told you we should just get Frank.
So you never.
Right.
I just want dregs.
Is it a pure breed?
It's a pure breed, that.
Right. So what kind of problems do you have with that kind of breed then? Because every pure breed has its problems.
It's hips.
Hips.
Bad hips.
Have you had a hip scored?
No, the hips are fine. We've got a genetic test.
What are the historically? What is a Pardale Terrier?
Parson.
It's a Parson Jack Russell.
So it's a cross then?
No, it's a purebred.
So it's basically, for those who don't know, that's a Jack Russell with wire hair essentially, isn't it?
No, it's
Long legs.
Longer
Jack
legs,
Russell.
and they're used for hunting game over rocky
Foxes.
terrain. Is that
Chasing the
correct?
foxes to catch, keep up with the foxes to go down the
And he
holes.
goes in the holes. That's because their feet. He's completely fearless. Like
Yeah.
he'd go straight and say it.
Because I know, like, I'm looking at a dachshund or a dashhound, whatever you got.
You want
Like, badger dog.
They're the most the dogs who have the most bites reported are dachshunds.
Oh, really?
Because they're super aggressive. Because they're meant to get badgers.
The most
Badgers are super like they're really like physical. So a dachshund would go in and pull the badger out, and then the hounds would kill it.
Yeah.
So dachshund's completely fearless. So if you put your hand in, boom.
Have you ever seen a badger?
Unbelievable.
How big do you reckon a badger is?
About that big.
It's big.
Do you know,
huge, yeah.
Here's another question. Do you know what the UK's largest carnivorous animal is?
Carnivorous animal.
Badger.
Aye. Because I always say carnivore, you say human, and you'd be right. Let's try again. Carnivorous animal.
Badger.
Mammal.
Wolf.
Which is a human.
Has to be a badger.
It has to be a badger.
Is that badger?
Yeah, it's a badger. So sorry, then there must be this big.
Because I went to a
I didn't
badger.
think they were that big.
I went to a badger watching
I thought they
you.
were like
They're like
Badger
they're
bear.
like,
a bit smaller.
But they're like my granddad because he was like used to live in Dunkeld in the hills, and he said they used to go like to dig the badgers out because they give the cattle TB. So he said they dig them out and then they put the dogs in them or they try and shoot them.
Aye.
But he said that the badgers are that strong. He said if they didn't like get the badger first with the shovel and try and break its back, he said it'd kill like 3 or 4 dogs. But kill the dogs quickly
Sure.
and then before the other dogs got it. Aye.
Hence
He
the
said
badger biting.
it would kill the terriers, and then the hounds would get on it. So he said before they'd have to shoot it. or they try and break its back or legs. Because they've got big, massive claws and big, huge jaws, so they'd like
claws and jaws.
Biggest
animal. So why did you get a badger instead of a dog then?
What's that? It's my badger. I did badger fighting.
You see that picture of the guys in Liberia with the pet hyenas and stuff like that?
I've seen it.
A hyena would be a good pet, but they're not very
Sure, yeah, why not?
Yeah. So you're going to train your dog to be like a hunting dog, or you're going to train it to be?
Maya, she's a cross Parson border, and she see if she smells a rat, she'll just dig for the whole day.
I smell a rat.
And then end up finding the rats and kill the rats, which is.
You got rats in your?
No, my dad's got a farmstead, and we get
right,
sometimes
so
get rats with chickens.
So what you use the dogs for then?
Pets.
Just for pleasure.
No, they're not working dogs then.
No, but we're trying to get Maya and Begbie with rat in there. No. It's called Begbie, by the way, after Trainspotting.
I was going to say that's called Begbie because like
Francis Begbie for Trainspotting.
Because I was looking at getting like a dash and I was like,
Ken what's a really good dog?
But
a Cairn Terrier.
A Cairn Terrier.
A Cairn, like beautiful.
What are they like?
Really friendly. They're like a black West Highland Terrier, but they're called Cairns because they used to run about the Cairns for rats.
Right.
But they're honestly the nicest dogs you've ever met in your life.
You gotta go. Right, well, I don't know if this is finishing, but Frankie's leaving. The guy's gonna jump back in. What's the kind of, have you seen the dog that the Germans use for hunting? It's a terrier breed, I can't remember what it's called. It's like a Rotterdam Terrier. Frankie. Working in the mean streets of Edinburgh as a rim boy. That may or may not be true. You've got dogs, Frankie, eh?
I have 2 Dalmatians and a Parsons.
A Parson? Oh, right. Is that from the same family? Or?
No, different dogs.
Oh well, I'm sure that'll be nice for you. This is actually, hang on, this is Dregscast. It's fantastic.
Just Dregscast.
It's all about me. There we go. So thanks for joining the first actual proper episode from now of the Dregscast. I've got an audience, I've got a bed. What can I say? Follow me, eyes back, at Dregscast. Oh, you read it. That was the first proper, pure, actual Dregscast.
So what happens is, right? This girl, she's 23 years old.
No.
And she
says, Margaret!
Shush, don't ruin it. She's 23 years old and she's a virgin, right? So,
are you a virgin?
Shut up.
Is your friend a virgin?
So we don't have time, you'll have to stop the questions. So she's 23 year old, she's a virgin, and all her friends are like, man, you're 23, you've got to lose your virginity. She's like, oh, I don't know. Shut up. I don't know. And so they say, come on. What we'll do is she'll take you out to Subway West End and we'll get you some sex. Like, how? Well, you just show up, right? So they go there and they introduce her to some guy and he's like, oh, hey, you fancy our friend? Yeah, why not? Like, she's female. So they take her home and he takes her home and blah, blah. A couple of days later they see her and like, how was it? It's like, it was alright. How was it? It was just different to how I expected. Well, then what way? I was like, well, you just did these weird things, you wanted to, kiss me in weird places and stuff. You're just.
Falkirk.
Yeah, Falkirk. You're just a prude. And he said, blah blah story interlude because he keeps interrupting.
One word. Falkirk.
So, yeah, it was a good interruption, by the way. So they say. They say, well, it was this weird thing. So he's pushing on my head gently down the way. I'm like, I kind of think, okay, I get the idea. So I kiss his nipples, and he's like, fine. I said, well, that's not weird. And he said, yeah, but okay. So he pushes me down a bit lower. So I'm like kissing his belly button, and they're like, right, that's actually not that weird. That's pretty normal. And then he pushed it a bit lower, and it's like, oh, okay. So this is her first time. She was like Catholic or whatever. And I'd never done anything except with the vicar. So I presume at some point she kisses his penis. So they're like, that's normal. And she's like, yeah, but like at some point, he just started saying to me, I didn't understand. He kept asking me who my mother was. So I'm saying like, Margaret, and he's saying, who's your mummy? And he goes, Margaret. And that's the end of the story. Thanks very much. Thanks for coming. Good night.
It's my favourite story. Remember, before we go,
Did Sean tell you that story?
before you leave, follow this. Is that clear?
If you want a Dregscast t-shirt,
If you want a free Dregscast t-shirt, please write into 0800
Show your 39
Dregscast, or send us a selfie. If you're hot, we'll send you one. Simple as that. If you want to be really hot, you have to be brown, sort of Moroccan looking, mid-20s. We'll give you a free t-shirt and maybe a date as well with this guy. That's William. So it's text @Dregscast if you manage to make it this long. I'm not surprised. I was like, oh, can't believe it. You made it to this long. No. You should stay with us. We're sponsored by tonight @Dregscast. If you're brown, Asian, whatever, William needs a wife. We're looking for a wife.
he's gonna keep it this small life. Right?
No, I'm gonna keep it small. Band-Aid 30. Feed the world.
I'm stopping it.
Feed the William. Brown girls.